Everything that you just said sounds like you heard it from someone else.
You had your fun. You came here illegally. You had your fun. Now it's time to get the consequences.
Has Trump lied?
He probably did. I don't care about him lying, but I'm talking about it was offensive to vote for Trump to them.
And type in who primarily benefits from DEI. What does it say?
White women. But other than that, you just asking me opinions, and an opinion don't have to be factual. That's not a grassroots understanding of an opinion.
Well. Look who we have here. Welcome back to the show, my guy.
How you doing? Peace and love, everybody.
I'm well. How have you been, good sir?
Been good, man. Working.
Yeah.
Loving the new administration, doing well.
I just asked you about hey, I'm just trying to ask you about yourself, you know what I'm saying? How's your personal, you know what I'm saying? How's your baby doing? You know, just how you are. How you, man?
I'm doing good, man. Baby boy doing good. You know, talking now, so crawling, doing his baby boy thing, man.
Bless. Always a good thing. How's mom?
Mom is cool. She cool, man. Just getting older, so you gotta pay attention more. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Gotta cherish her a little bit more.
If we're blessed, we'll get there too one day.
Yes, sir.
If we're blessed. All right, so straight to it. I hit you a while ago and was like, yo, we got to have a discussion. I've been trying to get to you since the election, right? Like we've been trying to have this conversation since the election. You've been ducking, you know, because I mean, hey, water rolls off you like that, but whatever.
No.
Whatever. But we here now. And I bring that up because I feel like during the time of us having these conversations where we were going to schedule our next episode, so much stuff happens. So much stuff happened with Trump like so rapidly that like the next week, like that's old news, which that's like a good and a bad thing, right? I do think it further desensitizes us even more so than the internet did. The internet already desensitized humans. I feel like the whole Trump world has desensitized us to a new level because now it's like, oh, that's a bombshell. And then later by the end of the day, it's a whole new thing.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where our beloved Gene Hackman died yesterday and like nobody's even talking about like what's going on with him? Like, how did he die? His wife and his kid, like stuff just gets like pushed to the side because like, hey, did you hear what Elon said? Did you hear what Trump said? Did you hear what they did? Did you hear what? But it's just a constant whirlwind. I'm assuming you like this world, so I'm going to start off by saying, admittedly, I did not vote for Trump. I told you in the beginning that I find myself in a purple state because there are left-leaning ideas that I'm very much on par with, and there are right-leaning ideas that I'm very much on par with. When I saw the election, I will be honest with you and say, though I understand that when an election, is won or they're starting to show counties or states, it doesn't have to be by a large margin to win. You can win by 1 vote. You can win by 1 million votes, right?
Right.
But when you looked at it, it looked like, wow. Wow. And so I want to give you some space because here was the first thing I thought of when we were going to have our conversation back after the election was, were we wrong? I give you the floor. Don't make me mad though, man. I'm gonna give you the floor.
I got to. I have to. I got no choice.
Watch your step, man. Come on. I already got to deal with this all the time. All right, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, so I think that America finally got it right, man. We were the silent majority, but people didn't believe it. We couldn't see it because we didn't have those platforms. Although we did, but we didn't have those mainstream platforms to let America know that there is conservatives out here. And there is people that are against the things that these oligarchs speak of, as far as transgenderism, all this playing with kids and all that. Like, America has spoken. We don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody agree with Trump. I get it, but it shows that we were deviating from God. Okay. It was the Democratic side. I'm not saying everybody was extreme, but on the mainstream level, they were going too far. And we said, hey, look, you went a little bit too far, to where I honestly believe that there's no comeback for them. There's no comeback. They're all discombobulated now. They're trying to figure out things. And like you said, everything is happening so fast to where they can't pick up. They can't pick up on it, because new news is old news, right? What else is Trump doing? Not like the first term, where everything was happening so slow, and everybody, you have CNN, MSNBC blitzing Trump, for everything he did, everything he said, and then we don't have that anymore. Now people are tired. I just think the American people are tired, and it showed that the last administration affected the grassroots of America, as far as people that really don't want anything to do with politics. It's affecting their pockets now. Now they got to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Even if they don't like Trump, it's like, we got to do something different, And I don't think that it was a pro-Trump. Everybody's pro-Trump, and it was a pro-Trump election. It was just that we just need to do something different. We just need to do something different. We got to fix this. I'm happy about it because my boy won, but I also understand that the American people were hurting. It's as simple as that.
Okay. So, and I'm gonna do my best to. I'm gonna try to remain neutral, because I feel like we got a few conversations to get all the information out. And one thing that I want to do is to give you breathing space to get your point across. I am going to challenge certain things, because I do want to understand from your vantage point why that makes more sense. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people listening want to know that as well. But I am going to do my best to try to, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
I get you. I get you.
So when
it's in our first rodeo.
right. So when you say the American people are hurting, a lot of times what I hear is, and I think this happens on both sides. And quick note, what I don't want this to turn into is just a this versus them, us versus them the whole time. What I really want to focus on is a spotlight of why Trump, what Trump has done, not what Trump did as opposed to Biden, what the Democrats did as opposed to the Republic. Like, because that kind of conversation it's just conversation for conversation's sake, right? But if we actually just deal with, okay, let's just talk about what this person is doing, then we can have a full-bodied conversation, right? So when you said the American people are hurting, what American people are you talking about?
I'm speaking about the average everyday American who wants to do well, but they're getting taxed out the woo-ha. They can't really focus on politics. That's not their expertise. They don't care about it really. But when it starts affecting them, the everyday average American, and seeing that eggs is going up, things are happening around them that they can't really pinpoint what's going on, because, like I said, not the average everyday American don't really pay attention to politics. They don't care. But when it starts affecting them, that's when it's like, okay, let me hear something now. I got to see what's going on. You get me? Mm-hmm. So what I mean by America was hurting the average everyday American. Average.
And so, and when you said average, you kind of pinpointed a worker and dollar amount. So when you say average, are you saying like middle class is average?
Middle class and down, if that makes sense.
Middle class and down. So those people were hurting.
Yes.
Okay. And so for those that weren't hurting, because I wasn't hurting, I'm gonna be honest. I had my biggest years in the past like 3 years, right?
Right.
And if you are, with politics aside, if you are doing right in your own walk, whatever your destination is, each year should be better, right?
Yeah, but you can't live off what should happen, because a lot of people don't do what they should do. Is this the truth?
That's a fact, but that's why I prompted it by saying if you're doing the things, right?
Yeah.
Right. So for those that were doing just fine, for those that weren't doing bad, and I'm asking this specifically because I felt like this constant characterization from Trump about America that it's doing terrible. Mm-hmm. That everybody's in poverty. Well, look at us. Look at the world's laughing at us. We're just getting screwed. We pay so much for this and we get nothing. Look at our cities. They're random. It's like it literally feels like pimp talk. Like that's how a pimp talks to a new girl that he's trying to get on the track. It's like, look at you. Look at your shoes. You busted down. Look, ain't nobody taking care of you. You ain't got nobody to go to. Where you gonna go? What you gonna do? Look what I got over here. Change your life. You know what I'm saying? Change your mind, baby. Change your life. Walk with me. That's what it felt like. First, let me tell you how terrible you are and how bad your situation is. And then let me tell you that I'm gonna be the one to make it better. Do you feel that that was a reality across America?
I do. I think that, like I said, I mean, you had a great year, right? And that's kudos to you. But there's a
Years.
lot of people struggling in this country that nobody cares about. Nobody hears about. They don't hear Kashmir, doing well. There's a lot of people that we have extended family that's not doing well, and due to the economy, you could see that. Due to the illegal immigration, you could see that. Like, and like you said, I know you don't. You said don't bring up the other administration, but like
Didn't want to do it.
but we were living in that time, so it's hard not to. It's like you got to compare it. You have to compare in order to see the difference. If not, it's like, what are we comparing it to? We just talking, like I can't compare it to anything. So my thing is that a lot of things that were happening, that like even the conferences that the people had, as far as going to the community conferences and saying, hey, look, going to their governor, going to their mayor, saying, hey, look, this is happening, and you guys are funding illegal immigrants. We don't have any funding here, like the fires in LA, the natural disasters that's happening around our country. They saying that we don't have any more funding, especially with what do they call that, FEMA. We didn't have any more funding. People are like, well, hey, look, like we should have funding. You take a whole bunch of tax from us. It seems like we're having a legal problem here, and we're funding them. They, and their leaders, right? You would say the people that they voted for, whatever. They would say it's not happening. It's not happening. No, we're not funding them. We're not doing this. But now, now it's hitting the head, because at the end of the day, why didn't we get the help that we deserve when you tax us out the woo-ha? You keep taxing us. Why aren't we seeing this help now? Why do we need to go to federal help when we get taxed in this state? So just in case something happened, we can tap into that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But
Sorry, you want to say something?
no, that's it. That's it.
So given that perspective, I don't completely agree with it, but like let's just go with it. If you say the middle class and down, which I mean that's a lot of people. That's arguably, what can we agree on? 80 to 90% of America,
Yeah.
right? Then why were, when you actually look at the popular votes, why was it so close? Why was there not the discrepancy that you're saying among the people? I know you're saying that this is what you feel. I can't tell if this is what you research. I can't tell if this is what you can prove. But what gives you this idea that 80 to 90% of America looked at what was going on and said, we got to change to Trump, or we got to change to something else, which in your opinion would be Trump, yet you had people that left being a Republican to vote Democrat. And when the popular votes came in, it was lightweight split down the middle.
I would say that you could look at Trump's approval rating, and also when it comes to Democrats, me being one for like almost my whole life, you understand there's a sense of tribalism. Like no matter what, vote blue, no matter who, no matter what. Because I would see interviews, right? Because we on YouTube, so we want to either we do reviews or we see what other people are doing, right? They would go out in the streets, even in California, the liberal state or whatever, and ask people, why are you voting for this person? A lot of them really, I would say 99% of them never had really a reason. It's just that I don't like Trump. It's not based off her policies. It's not like something she's bringing to the table. It's not like there's something I can agree with when it comes to her. It's just that I don't like Trump, right? And then obviously when it comes to Trump, there's a lot of propaganda that's against him, right? It's just racist to vote for him, and it's happening in your family, right? When people hear that you vote for Trump, that's long term Democrats, like my grandma. She look at you like you are op. Like why would you vote for him? Like, why wouldn't I, Grandma? Like, tell me what reason not to. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. They don't even want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's offensive to where, I believe that politics never used to be like that. It was offensive to vote for Trump. To them, it's offensive. So guess what? Even if his policies are true, right? Are his policies make sense to me? Because even Christian people, when it comes to the transgenderism and talking to kids, like they agree with they mostly conservative. They agree with that, but they rather vote for something that's totally against their lifestyle. Either way, gay marriage, and not to talk bad about gay people, but these things Christians don't value. They don't value that. That doesn't even make sense. It don't even align with your lifestyle. Why would you vote for something like that? It's just I'm Democrat. I've been a lifetime Democrat, and that's what I'm gonna do. Nope.
So while valid, and a lot of the points that you made, and I think this is usually our separation, because oftentimes you are able to only point the finger in one direction. And so what I can say is, number one, you listen to a lot of right-leaning media. So your echo chamber is going to produce a certain type of material. And I say that because, as you know, I have two separate computer setups where I have right-leaning material on one side and left on the other side. And I'm saying that to say I've heard these interviews where it's like, why are you voting for Kamala? Well, I just don't like that other guy. And it sounds like, well, what's that mean? But I've also seen, hey, why are you voting for Trump? I mean, hey, he's for America. What are you against DEI? Yeah, I hate DEI. What does it stand for? I don't really know, but I know it's bad. So you get that. So we can look at that and let's say, okay, let's just push that out the way, right? Because people, this ain't edited, but other people with a lot of these videos that we see, they edit and they put the ones that push the agenda that they want to with that video, right? We can agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that out the way, let's talk about the tribalism. It's the same on both sides as well. There are people that are lifelong Republicans that have been on camera saying, I don't like Trump. I hate Trump. I hate to bring it up, but J.D. Vance at one point was talking about Trump being Hitler. Plenty of people don't like Trump. However, they're lifelong Republicans, and they're not going to go against the party because of one person that's in the seat right now. They're not going to go against the party because of some of the policies that the party is producing right now. They won't even go against the party when it don't look like the party that they joined. That's both sides. That's both sides. We talked about that the first time you were on when we talked about Crips and Bloods, the same thing. Like, yeah, if you a Blood and yeah, they doing some things, they going to run down on some people that you really like, why are we even doing this, bro? That's his grandma house. Like, come on. You're not going to just stop and go be a Crip now. I'm done with y'all. Y'all ain't, come on. You're going to still do. So I'm saying all that to say it's very easy just to point the finger and go, well, they do this and they do that and they do this. But one thing I can say from watching both sides is you had both. You had people that were Republicans that were like, I don't like Trump, but I'm voting Republican. You had people that were Republican that said, I love Trump and I'm voting Republican. You had people that were like, I'm a lifelong Republican. I'm voting Democrat because I can't do that. And you had those same types of people on both sides. And what I'm asking you now, though, is back to my original question. Because of that, we saw a split in the numbers. So, what from all that gives you this feeling that 80 to 90% of America, as you said, the average American wanted something like Trump, if the numbers don't show that?
The reason is because like it's just like in the hood. Like a lot of times people vote against their own. Like I kind of explained it. Like Christian people with Christian values will vote against their own interests just to prove that they're not with this fascist, racist, Nazi person. I can agree with his policies. Like I said, I don't want kids being taught about sex education at 3 years old. I don't want my kid thinking that my son thinking that he's a girl. I don't want my teachers hiding behind, my back teaching them this stuff. But I will vote for the party that solely supports that. I don't want women in men's. I don't want women in men's sports or men in women's sports or men going in women's restrooms. I never would agree with that. But I will vote against my own natural what my lifestyle is. I will vote against it to prove a point. And nowadays, this is the time of activism. It's not. I don't have to be true. I don't have to align with anything. I'm just an activist. I think I'm doing the right thing because I was told this was the right thing. My grandma said, my uncle said. I get validated from these Democrats on the side. A lot of them, like I said, are Christian people, but they vote against their own interests. So it's like if you vote against your own interests, what is it? I can only come up to one assumption: like you really don't care about politics. You want to make a statement. Because, like I said, when you ask these people a question, like, why are you voting for this person when you're a Christian and you know that the Bible doesn't basically totally against this. It's totally against it. How can you vote this? How can you vote this? Because the Democrats didn't say anything about it being bad. They never said anything about what the country was turning to being bad at all. They just kept going with it. And as long as you let them, they was going to keep going with it. And to me, it strikes me. It to me is mentally disturbing saying that Trump really had to sign an executive order to say men cannot compete in women's sports. Why do you need an executive order? I thought that was a normal thing, but the Democrats wouldn't do it because they have 4 years of it. They never cared. This was going to be normalized. You're going to have to accept it and deal with it, even though, like I said, even people on the Democratic side, because this is most of the time we could agree with this. They don't agree with that. They don't agree with it. But it was never going to get voted out unless you did something about it. You can't keep voting for the same people and expecting different results. They never talked about it. That wasn't a part of their policies. So that's how I come up with the assumption that even though it was split during in the middle, a lot of these people will vote against their own interests, even if it doesn't benefit them. Doesn't matter.
Okay, so let's explore that. You said they will continue to vote against their own interests.
Yes.
I've positioned to you that I've heard both sides speak to the fact that the way that their party is moving, they don't agree with. However, they have a stronger disagreement with something that the other side is doing, right? You said they're voting against their interests. Would you agree that there isn't a singular party, especially in a two-party system for millions upon millions of people, that two parties have a chance to um, completely be in favor of someone's interests?
I would say you're not going to agree with 100% of everything somebody does for sure.
Thank you.
But when I speak of core values and religion, like I mean, it's hard
No,
to
no,
you can't even
I hear you. I hear you.
yeah.
And so that's another thing because voting politically and voting your religion, some people look at those things different. There is a separation of church and state, and some people do honor that in a different way, right? Because not all of my uh, spiritual beliefs have to be what I want to inflict on all the people in my community. Because as Americans, we have the freedom, right, to worship as we may. We don't have to worship God. We don't have to worship the Bible, right? That's why
Right.
we have a separation.
But when you got minor attracted persons, we going from LGBTQ, fine, you got rights,
Mhm.
to I want to speak to your kids. You got drag queen story hour. I'm put out books talking about how to give oral sex to grown men. And then we got the maps, minor attracted persons. No longer pedophiles, minor attracted persons. I would say I will put up anything.
Mhm.
Any Christian will say, I know they separate church and state. Fine, great. That don't even make sense. That to me, you can't be a Christian saying that I'll vote for the devil, but I won't. I worship God. That don't make sense. That's the devil. God speaks solely about that. He warned you about this. How can you vote for it? It don't even make sense.
I
I,
got you. I got
I'm
you.
exploding. Like I don't
I
get
got
it.
you. I got you. And I'm not gonna dip over in there just yet. I know you like to focus on the 0.005% of the party and make that the 100% focus. But I'm not gonna do that with you today, just because I'm trying my best to stay in the middle. But we will
All right,
talk about it
all right. So
because,
let me ask you this one question. What?
and then I'm gonna get back to the interest because I'm still on voting against their interest. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. What Democrats spoke out against it? That's what I want to know. Like in the party, what Democrats spoke out against it wholeheartedly? And if it wasn't the majority of them, that's what I wanted.
I'll be honest, I can't say that I recall any. I can't say that I recall any. But you know what? I'm gonna ask one question because I feel like it's fair. What church? You go to church, right?
From time to time, not. I've been super busy
I mean,
going to
you were
life.
just, you just kind of beating the Bible over the Constitution for a second. I assumed that as well as you know the constitutional rights, you probably know the Bible. But go when you want. I mean, you don't got to go to church to know the Bible. You study the Bible?
Yeah, I try to, but I don't understand most
Try
of it
to.
sometimes. But I should,
Understand it. Okay. Okay. A lot of little him and Han right there. But anyway, so tell me the last time that you were in church and you heard a pastor stand up and speak about minor, what is it called?
Minor
Minor
attractive
attractive
person.
persons, maps, any of these things, drag queens. Tell me the last time you heard him talk about it.
Me personally, I haven't heard anybody. I
Okay.
haven't heard a pastor speak about it, but I've seen it though.
Okay.
I've seen
So,
people record pastors talking about it.
okay. So I guess that's my point is that to just because someone can't point out them hearing someone do it, it doesn't necessarily mean that the people aren't against it, right? It doesn't mean that. But I agree with you that I don't think it's right. The same way that I judge Jay-Z when everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Jay-Z and Beyonce, they in the I don't even want to say it because I don't get my video taken down. They in the thing, right?
Yeah,
And they done sold their souls, and they sold their souls so they can be in the thing, and that's why they so big, right? Well, I thought and I've heard Jay and Beyonce talk like they were Christians, talk like they believe in God. Like I've heard rhymes of his that you hear that, like God watched over me kind of thing. I've heard her talk where she talked about God blessing her. So I'm like, okay, well, as big as you are, speak against it. I cannot tell you one time that I ever heard either of them speak against being in that thing. Does that mean that they're in it just because I didn't hear them, just because they didn't say it? Everybody has a choice. Not everybody wants to be in front of a camera talking about everything all the time. So though I disagree with it, though I feel like they should have took a stance, that don't mean that I can what's the word? Tip of my tongue. That doesn't mean that I can convict them of something wrong because they didn't do what I think is right. You see what I'm saying?
yeah. I hear you. I just don't. I get you, but bad things happen when good people do nothing. It's just like Epstein. Everybody knew about it in Hollywood,
Okay,
but
hold on, hold
at
on, hold
what
on. There you go. Okay, hold on, hold
I
on,
know.
hold on.
I gotta finish the point. I gotta finish the point.
You,
I'm trying to bridge it. I'm about to bridge it.
you
Just like
bridge
you brought up.
everything. By the time we get done, it's a whole city of bridges
No, no,
and,
I
and
got
no
it.
parking
I'm about to
lots.
be done.
We can't
I'm
stop
about to
nowhere.
be
No
done.
parking lots.
I'm about to be done. All I'm saying is this: they were. At what point are they complicit in it? You knew about it. You did nothing. So, what point are you complicit?
All right,
What
cool.
point do we hold you accountable? Like, hey, you seen it, you know about it. Why didn't you say anything about it? Now, if that's the case, I gotta hold you accountable. By I can't listen to you no more. I'm done. My ear is closed to you because if you vote for something you totally against, what could you tell me? What could you tell me? Well, how can I listen to you? I can't. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
got you.
sorry.
I got you. So I think we'll get into the celebrity side, especially of Trump, because Trump has been photo with people that you're talking about. Trump has been in spaces and places with the types of people that you're talking about, and I do believe that deserves a conversation because I love to see the dance moves that occur. Like I've
Mhm.
seen you do the moonwalk plenty of times, but I can't wait to see the other dance moves that occur when we dig into Trump and his life in the celebrity world. So
Okay.
back to voting against your what was it?
Own interest.
Interest. I was about to say influence. Your own interests. So you agreed that there isn't one party that can completely um be on board with a person's all of their interests.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that being said, there's your answer. There's your answer to, well, how can you still vote for somebody and they agree with men being in sports. Like, yeah, you're right. We don't agree with that. There's plenty of people that don't agree with that. But that's like us saying, well, how can you vote for someone who said, I'll grab them by the... That's a thing that you're able to go, okay, yeah, but that was a long time ago. Well, how can you vote for someone who agrees with the Proud Boys, says stand down and stand by? Well, that was that thing. How can you agree with someone that said that the Jan Sixers are blah 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 blah? You're like, well, I agree with that. You're gonna have your reasons, and some of those things you're gonna be like, yeah, I don't rock with that, but the other side, I really don't rock with that. You're going to have some of those areas where you try your best in conversation to support, even though you have to acknowledge it, that maybe on the inside you are kind of like, I could do without that. And if he had told me that Biden was the one that said that, or Obama or Kamala, anybody else, I probably wouldn't like that the way that I'm okay with it now. You kind of got to deal with that. So I'm saying that to say, I think that is the navigation that all of us are on as Americans in a two-party system. There's no way two parties can completely be the representation of every person perfectly. So you're going to say, what's the best? There's a lot of stuff I don't like. Maybe I don't like the taxes. Maybe I don't like the foreign policies. Maybe I don't like the immigration reform. Maybe I don't like the gun policy. Whatever, on both sides. But I got to try to figure out which one has the things that I feel like will make America better. Because to me, it's not about voting what's going to make me better. And some of us are different, because some of us say, well, I'm voting because I didn't make any money. Or I'm voting because Trump gonna put more money in my pocket, or Biden's gonna give me my student loans back. I get more. It's about me. What are you doing for me? I vote based on a community, and so based on a community, some people are gonna look at it like, well, here are the things on this side. Here are the things on this side. Which one do I think actually help the community the best? And so you're gonna get that. So I'm saying that was the answer to, I don't know how people vote against their interests, because they're voting for the other interests. They're not just looking over here going, wow, that's all against my interest. I'll go with it because I'm a Democrat. That's not what's happening. But that's kind of how you frame it, like they're just a lifelong Democrat, so they're just gonna vote against their interests. Like, come on, man. Come on.
I mean, most Democrat. Well, I'm just speaking for mostly the Black community. Like in a hood, right? We do things that's against our interests. We care more about, let's say in California, right? That's where I'm from. That's all I can speak about. We give into the gangs, right? We don't snitch on people. No, this. Don't talk to the police. Hate the police. But who does it hurt the most? It hurt us. Like if we have no protection, all we gonna do is join gangs, because like this is what we supposed to do. We're loyal to the street code at the end of the day, even though it's against our own interests, because little kids getting killed in the streets for no odd reason. This is because they're there. At the end of the day, it's against our own interests. We do a lot of things, especially in the culture. We do a lot of things in the hood that's against our own interests. We prop up Sexy Red. We prop up all these other folks. We idolize these people that are not in our best interest, and we always done that. Always. We have never. Now we have starting to question it, saying that, hey, what the f is going on a mainstream level? Because before you had to, nobody really spoke out against these, like Jay-Z and stuff like that. And P. Diddy, like I said, P. Diddy been doing this for a very long time. I'm not saying he guilty or whatever, but if anything, everybody knew what he was doing. All these people that's coming out now, you been knew what he was doing. Why now? You should have been said something. Nobody said nothing, because in the hood, it's like your nasty uncle. You don't say nothing because grandma said you keep that in the house. It's against our own interests. I'm just speaking about the culture because I'm Black. That's all I know. We do
So
a lot of
are
things.
you saying that's Black people? You're saying, matter of fact, we're gonna keep it as segregated or as dialed in as you said.
Yeah.
Specifically in California hoods.
Yep.
You are saying that, I don't know if you're saying all of the majority, because you just said we always do stuff against our own interests. We always, right?
For sure.
So that sounds like all inclusive.
Well, there's outliers, but they don't. That's statistically. Yeah, majority of black people, yes, we do we do what's not in our best interest all the time, for sure.
Got it. And you don't believe in any systematic institutions that may create that.
No, because everybody knows better. Like, how long you gonna blame it on systematic racism or systematic problems when I speak to a guy like you? You can go outside right now, and a person will enlighten you about what happened. Now it's your job to do something about it. Now, if you don't do nothing about it, no more systemic racism, no more systemic anything, because you chose to do nothing with that information. Now, I'm telling you, like I said, I game bang before. There's a plenty of people that know better that choose not to do better. So who fault is it? I
Okay.
can't blame nobody else.
So you said they choose not to do better. Okay. So
Yeah,
let's just say I'm that person that you gave the information to. I
right.
want to do better. And let's say systemically, I can't.
Why can't you? Because I did it. Why can't you?
So do you think that's a good barometer? Like, I did it, so why can't you? So like
Yeah,
so you believe that we're all equitable in the same way. So if one person can do it, everybody can do the same exact thing.
yes, because that's one of the things that I speak about. Me going to prison, me being raised by a single mother, me being joining a gang. Like, bro, if I'm nobody special, I didn't do nothing like out the ordinary to make it out. All I did was I had a plan and I stuck to it. I had a
Okay.
plan. I'm not the most successful person in the world, but if you want to make it out the hood, you got to change your mentality. You
Okay.
have to, but you
Okay.
can't blame nobody else around you. You got to do it.
All right. I don't disagree that you gotta change your mentality to change your circumstances. So I'm not gonna answer that question. I want you to answer it. I want you to tell me if you feel like that's where you from, that's your story, and there's millions of people just like you with that same exact story, right?
I'm not saying it's millions of people about that's with the same story, but what I'm saying is that
Well, there's millions of
every,
people that live in hoods, right? That's what I mean.
of course,
There's millions of
yes,
people that have joined gangs. There's millions of people that were raised with a single mom, right?
yes, but not
That's what I'm saying.
specifically, not
Circumstantials.
not 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 side by side, like full on. Everything I've done, they've done. No, for sure. But what I'm saying is that everybody has opportunities that's available to them, but they chose not to take them.
Okay,
Not
so
to
hold
take
on,
those. Yeah,
hold on. Sorry. So my question, I'm trying to slow down a bit because it's easy just to fabricate a statement. It's easy to go, hey, get up, work hard, grind every day, be at the gym by 7, be the last one out of there, and you'll get there. That's easy. It's harder to look into the weeds of someone's life and realize that like they could wake up thinking that every single day, but they can't. They can't do the same thing that you can. And humbly speaking, I'm trying to craft a storyline in my head without offending anybody that might be going through it. But I feel like it's necessary because your responses are making me, number one, know that you're against DEI, and number two,
yeah.
letting me know that you haven't you have not the compassion for another uh, um, person in a similar situation if they don't do the same thing that you did.
No, it can go other routes, but what I'm saying is that excuses only lead to more excuses. There's plenty of people that I will tell them to get in the elevator union. Hey, man, this is how you do it. I'm scared of heights. It's a lot of things that it's a lot of people that is broke that has won't do. That's something they just won't do.
No, I
So
get that, and I'm not talking about those people. So that let me go back. I'm trying to draw a line between I got the information and I chose not to do because I said that earlier, and I got the information and I can't do. Okay.
what makes you can't do it though? Like
Okay.
your
All right.
God is you don't your arms don't work or legs? Like what's going on?
All right. So you do know that there is inequities in education. Some areas have better schools, right?
Yeah.
Right. Those better schools have better teachers because the teachers get paid more in those zip codes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those schools get better funding, so they have better books and learning materials for the students that go to those schools, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those schools have greater funding, so they're able to actually do things outside of the school, of the classroom, that allow them to further their knowledge at another level, right? Out in the real world with different programs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if we know that there's a disparity, we can at least say that there's a top and a bottom, right?
Yeah, you could say that, yeah.
You have to, right?
But not everybody at the top make it out. Like,
I didn't say that. One step at a time. I know what you want to do. One step at a time, though.
okay,
We agree that some schools have more, which by nature of saying we agree that they have more, and that means some schools have less.
yeah, for sure.
Right. So then there's going to be a better education and there's a worse education.
Okay.
Okay. So my point to that being, and let's just stay with just that. Do you not agree that with a better education, because you just said if you walk outside and someone tells you, that means someone gives you information, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you get more information, you don't agree that you have a greater chance than someone with less information.
Statistically, yeah, of course. If you get more information, you have a better chance of exploiting that information. Sure.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm saying is, if let's say I decide that let's say I've been cooking for grandma, as you said. I'm trying to use your accent. Grandma. Let's say you've been cooking for grandma for years. People come over to the house. Let's say you have a similar situation. You raised by your mom. Hey, maybe you're raised by your grandma. That's normal too. All right. You've been cooking for all the time. People come over and they're always complimenting your food. Always, always, always. Somebody finally says like, yo, you should like really think of doing something with this. You should like go to school, go to a culinary school, go to, start a food truck, figure this thing out. And at that moment you decide, yes, I'm going to do that. I love cooking. I'll be watching Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay. Like I would love to do that. And now someone gave me the motivation, right? The win that I needed to go do it. Okay. No culinary schools anywhere nearby because of where I live. All right. Because of the lack of jobs in the area, because usually the hoods are very dense in residential population and not so much in industrial and manufacturing and retail and all of that, right? So the jobs are not that much, right? So no jobs. I gotta take care of grandma because, like you said when we first got on, when you said mom's getting older, you got to pay more attention. Well, grandma's even older. You got to pay even more attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't just get up and go because you got to be there for her. But you don't have the money to travel back and forth, maybe 2 hours away to a good culinary school. You definitely don't have the money to go buy a food truck. Conversely, across town, somebody else in the same exact situation, and the moment they're told you should get a job with this, they're also told you do know that there are grants for your age and your nationality, your background, your gender, that will actually give you money so that you can start and give you favorable terms that you can pay back while after you start your business and actually get going. Who has a better chance?
We just spoke about that.
Who
The
has a better
person with the
chance?
information, right? But my thing
Okay,
is,
hold on. I'm gonna let you cook because I know you want to. I know you're ready to go. My point is, you said, why can't they? Why can't they? Now, yeah, I just came up with that off top, and I'm not saying it's a perfect example, but I'm saying it does illuminate a real scenario that people find themselves in where their real life, the life that maybe they created, maybe they didn't. Maybe they were born into this specific life in this specific area with this specific family under these specific conditions. And no matter how much they wake up and want to think like Christian, no matter how many videos on YouTube that they watch to try to get themselves motivated or to learn something online, their condition that they are in, they cannot figure it out. They do not have the right information. And so they literally cannot. And then Christian is saying, You just voting against your interest. You always doing stuff against your interest. Why are you even still there? So my question to you is, how can you not see that America has inequalities even in that scenario that you agree with?
I think that America has inequalities everywhere. It's as simple as that. A lot of times we don't pay attention to Utah, where there's a whole bunch of white people that's struggling, a whole bunch of white people that live in dirt, bro. We don't talk about that. We talk about the hood. We talk about black people. There's always going to be a
Hold
middle
on, hold on,
class.
hold on, hold on.
Well,
We're
I
on
gotta
black
finish.
people because hold on,
I gotta finish.
but you put me in the black people. I'm saying don't change it now. You said I'm gonna talk about what I know. So I don't want to talk about Utah. You didn't grow up in Utah. I don't want to talk about
But
Nebraska, New York,
but
Miami.
like
I just want to I
but
kept it where you put it. So
right,
keep it
but
in
for
California hood.
conversation's sake, you gotta, if people are listening, you gotta compare the two, because a lot of times we put a fine lens on just our problems. Well, black people, we're going, because you're saying there's an economic difference, and like I said, a lot of times this is a democratic talking point. There's a lot of economic differences, which is true, but there's economic differences on every playing field. Which race doesn't matter, depending on where you live, your zip code, that matters. I don't care if you white, black, or Asian, doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is that my experience bringing it back to the hood, not having empathy for people that's going through that. I was one of those people. I was one of those people. At the end of the day, if you don't seek it, you will never find it. And if you once you seek it and find it, you have to execute. Not everybody's gonna get out of the hood, and that's a sad position. I mean, that's a sad story. Even with the information you saying, they just can't get motivated. Who problem is that? That becomes a you problem, because not everybody gonna make it out. You can go to the most prestigious school, go get your doctorates, and still not have a job. Like, you did everything you could, but you got beat out by XYZ. At the end of the day, there's a lot of things as far as you do what you need to do, you do what you're supposed to do, and you're not gonna make it out. Not everybody gonna make it, and that's the sad reality. You can't, we can't pay for everybody that don't make it. It's the truth. But even with information that we get in the hood, a lot of times we look at those older guys who's teaching us these things as weirdos. He's a weirdo. He's a cop. He's this. He's that. Been there, done that. Because, like I said, most people hate Charleston White, but at the end of the day, he's like a community. He's a community activist. Before all this joking and all that, he put in the work. Forget that. I hate what he's saying. And I said this myself on a video. Every hood has a Charleston White that we overlook. Because this is why he said he started doing dumb crap, because everybody overlooked him. Now everybody paying attention to him. In the hood, everybody has that person speaking out against the foolishness, but he's always overlooked because of culture. Who do you blame at this point? You blame yourself, because you got the information from Charleston White. You got it. What'd you do with it? Because I would say this myself. In the hood, you have people speaking out against it, but we looked at those guys. It's like, bro, I want to be popular. You're young, kid brain. I want to be popular. What is the popular guys getting right now? I'm not talking about later. I'm talking about right now. Those are the bad guys. I want to be a bad guy because they getting what I'll need at this point right now, because I don't think further than my situation. But a lot of times, you making those decisions as a young age, it comes repetitive. You start doing it over and over, it becomes you now. It becomes you, because ain't nobody coming to check that. You shun Charleston White a long time ago. That's not even in the question. But then when life fails, guess what? You have an opportunity to turn on that camera and say systemic racism, economic. Boy, like, bro, at the end of the day, everybody has a chance in life, bro. Now, if you miss out on them chances, that's on you. That's on you. Because I'm, like I said, I meet people now. I try to get them into the union. I try to get them electrical union. This thing, they just don't want to do it, and I can't force them. I can't say sign up here. Hey, how long you got to go to school? That's their first question. Not what do I need to do to get the job. It's just how long you got to go to school. Oh, hell no, I ain't going to school. What can I do with that? Tap somebody else on the shoulder and ask the person that's willing to do it. It's that simple. You can't force people to do nothing. But then you realize that, okay, there is a problem here. What's the problem with people saying, people that's broke ain't got nothing going on, and they still picky? Well, what they, bro, you gonna have to work a warehouse job to get that dream job, because you ain't got nothing going right now. You're gonna have to do them 12-hour shifts, especially if you're a felon. You're gonna have to do those 12-hour shifts stacking boxes for a minute. Yeah, you're gonna have to. But a lot of people, they're above it. They're above it. I'm not doing that. So guess what? Who fault is that? You can't force people to do what's right for them. So this is what I mean by people going against their own interests, because they don't care about that right now. They care about what makes me feel good. What makes me feel good at this time. But by the time they figure it out, they talk to a person like you that say, I feel you. I don't feel you because I've been through what you've been through. I heard the Charleston White in the hood that everybody overlooked. I heard him, and I overlooked him a few times too. But I caught on to what he was saying to me. I caught on. I get it. I got it. And thank God that I had enough time to fix it. I had enough time. God gave me enough time to fix the problems, the chink in my armor to get to where I was trying to go. You get me? But I believe that a lot of people have those. It's dudes in the projects that speak out against it, but we overlook them all the time. We overlook them all the time. So
Okay.
it's hard for me to empathize with that. It's just hard, like, because I understand where we come from, and I wholeheartedly understand to where I hold myself accountable. Because if I fail, it's on me, and I look at everybody else like that.
All right, so I'm gonna have to go to the. I'm not frozen, am I? No. All right, I'm gonna have to go to the chat in a second. I didn't realize how my chat was getting lit up right now. That usually happens when we get on.
Yeah, it does.
I do want to say, and this is constructive criticism for you. Just going forward, if you actually want to genuinely convey a point to another person, you have to do a better job at staying on topic. I know that you feel like you have to bridge out to a lot of things, but what happens is you didn't really speak to the inequalities. And my question was, if you agree, because we started with, why can't they do it? So we needed to address the fact that there are inequalities. There are situations that sometimes people just can't. There are situations that might make it so hard. I'm going to take out can't. I'm going to take out can't. Because even if I can, even if a mother, if she's, in fear, can move a car, as they say, it doesn't mean that she can any given day just walk out and move the car. There might need to be a specific set of circumstances that cause that to happen. And if they happen on the day that she sprained her arm the day before, then maybe it's still not going to happen. But to speak to things in this like blanketed way that you talk to a guy or two or three and then say most people just don't want to. It's like, was that most people or most of the people you talk to? Because what the numbers actually show is there's actually a large amount of people that are coming out of the hood or just staying there and changing the hood. They're actually putting money back into the hood. They're actually starting business and employing people within the hood. So you're speaking to it from a place of how you grew up and what you saw in that hood. Cool. I can't change your experience by far, and I'm not going to try to. But the same way that there was a you, we both be fools to sit here and say that you were the only you in your neighborhood, right?
I never said that.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not calling you a fool. So I'm saying we would be fools to say it, right? So there was another Christian. There were multiple Christians.
So why are we complaining? Like, if it's multiple Christians,
because what the multiple Christians fail to do, in my opinion, is then talk down on the people that weren't Christian. And that's not a religious pun.
Yeah, but it's not talking down. It's basically saying that.
No, it is. It is. What you said.
That's an emotional response. That's not talking down because your grandpa can tell you.
If you look at somebody and say, you're just tribal, you ain't gonna do, you're just doing something because other people do it, and you always do stuff that's against your own interests, like not talking to the cops, not this, that's our problem. That's blanketed. You didn't say some people are like this. You said people in the hood are like this.
So why would you say the majority of the hood, there's a repetition of the same problems that have been happening? There's a generation of gang banging. There's babies, there's infants, there's toddlers, the newborn. Why? If everybody see that the big XYZ is in jail for the rest of his life, why didn't we check? Why is it still repeating itself? There's obviously if anybody can say this, there's obviously a stronghold of gang banging and culture in Los Angeles. It is. I don't care what nobody's saying. It can go to New York. It can go to Chicago. In the black culture, it's a strong presence in our communities. Why, knowing that Big Meech went to jail for damn near XYZ, We've seen it happen. Why are we repeating these things? Obviously, there's a strong influence inside those areas that's keeping it that way. And
So
we know better.
I will say this. There's a saying that you may have heard that says change either happens slow or not at all.
It ain't happening. It ain't happening at all.
And because you're saying what you're saying, I'm going to, while we're on, try my best to find some statistics of exactly how many people are in gangs in certain areas now than they were in the 90s. Because there are still people that smoke cigarettes. With all the videos and with all the truths and with all the propaganda, with all the information given, guess what? People still smoke cigarettes. But there are less cigarette smokers today than there were back in 1960, because change either happens slow or not at all. So if we're in the middle of change, don't critique the change, fan the flame to help the change move along. You mad that it ain't changed already?
Because
No, it ain't changed already.
But you talking about empathy. A lot of times those black folks that you talking about don't make it out is because of their own people. You know how many dead bodies I have to step over, how many drive-bys I have to step over to make it out? I didn't even think I was gonna be 18. I literally didn't think
What
so.
year was that? What year was that?
What do you mean?
How many bodies I had to step over to make it out? What year was that?
I'm talking about dead homies, dead friends, dead
What
companions.
year was that? What year was that?
When I was in the hood. What do you mean?
What year was that?
What,
You're not in the hood
2012,
now.
2012, 2011, like,
Okay,
bro,
2012,
it's variations of times. My friend's still dying. It ain't. I still got homies still over there. It's a continuous thing.
Hey, if it's a conversation about our tragedies happening in the hood, we're on the same page. If it's a conversation of whether more opportunities need to be there, more people need to have more information, if it's a conversation about bringing people to a higher level, we're on the same plane. We are not on the same plane and kind of just demonizing the whole thing and saying, yeah, they just keep just doing the wrong thing. I mean, what you gonna do with them? We're just not on the same page right there. All right, now let me hold on. Let me go to the chat. Let me go to the chat because I'm behind in the chat a lot. These are all these are all from the same person. Starting 42 minutes ago, and so we've been on for around
57.
so this is around 10-15 minutes in. So she says, oh, come on, Trump's approval rating is in the toilet right now, even among Republicans. That is very true. That is very true. What are your thoughts to that?
I don't believe that.
Okay, but what are you? Okay, so let's just admit that we're not going to, unless we're just saying we feel something. Just like I said, I'll look up statistic. I didn't say there are less gangbang. I'm not going to speak to something I don't know. So let's just say that if I'm saying it's true, and I'll pull it up to make sure.
Okay.
But because I have seen that, but there's different polls that show different things. So I'm going to pull up.
I've seen something totally different. That's why I can't believe it.
Right, but we already agreed that you watch a lot of right-leaning media. So even if it was bad, they just wouldn't show you then.
So what about the left-leaning thing? Even if it wasn't bad, they'll show you some stuff. Just like just like Hunter Biden's laptop was false, and they'll lie to you straight in your face. They don't care.
Okay, so let's try to get as recent of a.
Now I got to be recent though. That's crazy.
No, not you. I'm saying me. Like if I'm going to provide any information, I'm going to find something as recent as possible. Okay. Trump's approval rate. This is no joke. Trump's approval rate.
You're
price of eggs. That's a whole other conversation. He what?
It sounded like your sound went out for a minute.
Oh, my bad. Am I good now?
Yeah, you good. You good.
Okay. Actually, hold on. While I'm looking that up, let me not slow things down. Let me read the next one. It says, what evidence do you have that most Americans wanted Trump-like leadership? I did ask you about that, but what are your... Okay. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. He did win. He won not only the electoral vote to where it could be a argument if he lost the popular vote. He did win the popular vote as well. Again, the numbers were very close. The numbers don't suggest exactly the way that people felt on both sides. I think one side felt like, oh my gosh, we just got devastated. And the other side felt like, haha, we're here, we took over. But really, it was like a 48-47 game, you know. It was like 120.
Are you looking at the same electoral colleges, or what's going on?
Well, yeah, not just electoral college numbers. I'm talking about the popular vote numbers. So when you break it down and see like actually how many votes, you do know how the electoral college works, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
The majority wins.
Right. So even if you win by all of those states, let's say you won by one vote, your electoral college numbers are going to go up a lot more significantly than your popular vote numbers are going to suggest that the difference is. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, but he won those states. He won all the swing states. So I mean, I don't.
Yeah, no. I think maybe you just want more a pat on the back than what I'm giving. But I'm saying he won. He won the electoral college. He won the popular vote. He won. Um. I'm trying to find a good report or a report. Period. This is just talking about reports. But it says its highest to lowest so far has been between 34% to 49%. I was trying to find something that kind of showed what it was before and what it is now, so I can see if it's up or down. So until I can see that, I won't even go into that. So we did talk about that. Let's see. Who is out there telling you um who's out there telling you that they're voting against their own interest? Is our only interest maintaining traditional marriage and banning trans people in sports? So we kind of spoke to that as well. But what are your thoughts on that? Are there any other interests that you think people might vote Democrat for that just don't have anything to do with those couple of high points?
But I mean, the only reason I bring that up is because that was the Democratic standpoint at the time as far as LGBTQ. That's when you think about LGBTQ, Democrat, right? When you think about tax the rich, Democrat. Even though they got George Soros and most billionaires who fund these people, um, they that's why I say voting against your own interests. The thing that they speak about, the thing they speak against, they're all for. When it came to Nancy Pelosi, millionaire, and she's been a civil servant for X how long? They take tax the rich though. They coined the term tax the rich. Why aren't you taxing them? Because the rich is they're in your cabinet. They don't care about that. What they care about is making Trump and the Republicans look bad when they can't, because they ain't did crap to their own folks. And they don't talk about George Soros. I have to talk about him and get my channel shadow banned for talking about him. But why y'all can't talk about him though? Y'all say tax the rich. Why is he covered? Why is he being protected? That's what I want to know.
Okay, but just like when you said, if you talk about, LGBTQ, you know who that's talking about. So why would they vote for them? But at the same token, if you say racist, you know they're talking about conservatives. If you say white supremacy, you know they're talking about conservatives. So why?
Because race,
hold on. That don't matter whether you think it's false, because I didn't go into if it was false or not. The point is, you do agree that when you say that, if you had to pick a party, you would put that label over on, as far as the way that people look at the two parties. People do not look at the left side, at the left, like white supremacy. They look at it like LGBTQ and trans and all of that, right?
Can I answer this wholeheartedly?
No.
Yes or no?
I'm gonna let you answer.
Okay.
But right now, I just want to get a yes or no. Do they look at, because you just said it, so do they, when they think of the left, do they see LGBTQ and trans, and is that their idea of what the left is about?
Yes, if you bring up that subject, who gonna back them up? Yes.
Okay, so if you brought up the conversation about racism or white supremacy, do you feel like most people would say their idea that fits more with the right?
Through propaganda, yes.
Okay. You just can't say yes or no. Okay.
It's a lie.
So whether it be a lie or not, there's propaganda on both sides. There's propaganda on, people do this all the time. just like you, after this video, you can go and talk about this conversation and it can sound a completely different way than me talking about the conversation. And that's not because of intentional propaganda. That's more because of just who we are and what we believe in.
All right,
That's gonna happen.
I gotta say this, Kashmir. You can't say it's not intentional propaganda when you lied about Hunter Biden's laptop. You lied about Russiagate. You lied about most people in most Democrats wouldn't even mess with their family for all the lies that if they lied to them this much. But when it comes to the Democrats, they're gonna keep voting for them no matter what. No matter what.
Has Trump lied?
Huh?
Has Trump lied?
He probably did. I don't care about him lying, but I'm talking about.
Why are we talking about lying?
No, I'm not talking. I'm talking about propaganda.
But do we not care? No. But you said they lied. So do we not care about lies? Do we care about lies? You gotta pick one.
No, I'm talking about court cases.
Do we care about lies?
I'm trying to pinpoint it because this changed the country view about Donald Trump. Especially even if it wasn't true, nobody apologized for it. The case just went away. Nobody apologized for it.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
All I'm saying is that when it came to Trump, propaganda did change people's perception about him. And you could see it itself, and it is very much so on purpose propaganda, because they take things that he says out of context. When he said it's good people, and they still played it even during Kamala Harris their election. They still played that same video saying, "Oh, there's good people on both sides." They didn't say they didn't play the last part where he said, "Except those racist, mother." I'm not putting it, I'm just saying it myself, but he didn't say exactly the same way I'm saying it. But he said, "Except for the racist folks out there," right? But they play that as good people on both sides, and they utilize it, which means that it is.
I never heard that, and I listened to it. I don't remember saying that.
You gotta watch it. I watched it.
But he said I did.
I put it on my videos. to make a point.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Of course, you don't remember that. But at the end of the day, all I'm saying is this: people say things, but they don't go back and apologize for it. So it's very disingenuous. It's hard for me to say that it's not on purpose when you're not apologizing. You got to have that same energy when it comes to the thing that you lied about. But the thing that they lied about, they don't apologize for it. They don't go on CNN and say, "You know what? We lied. I got you. Hunter Biden laptop. It's true. We lied. Nobody said anything. You just got to figure it out yourself." But there's Democrats that will argue with you left and right, and you telling them people are lying. They will argue with you, but they're no longer. By the time the truth come out, nobody cares. Who cares if they lie? That's old. That's old. But me, I'm not letting nothing slide, because if you lie to me once, you'll lie to me again. Why would I want to listen to you now? And why would I want to listen to people that don't care about them lying?
Okay, so you said if you lie to me once,
you'll lie to me again.
You'll lie to me again.
Yep, propaganda for sure.
So I'm not gonna go deep into all the lies that I wrote down about Trump. Let's just talk about the most recent lie. Let's kind of get off the hood conversation. We're already at an hour and 8 minutes. Let me know when you gotta go. We always gonna come back and do, because you're never gonna see the light. It's clear.
There's no light.
It's clear.
Light.
All that light in your room shine on the right side of your face, and you're still never gonna see it. I get it. So let's talk about a recent lie. Just last week, Trump in the camera said, actually, they weren't looking to the camera. He was talking to a reporter that asked him a very specific question about Medicaid, Medi-Cal, Medicare, whatever it is, and Social Security. Do you recall him making any statements about funds being taken or not from those programs?
Yeah, I heard him saying that he won't take any benefits from anybody that's in need of it, right?
He specifically said they will not be touched.
Yeah.
Okay. But you do know that they got touched.
You suppose
the night before he said that.
Do you? My thing is this. This is a
yes or no. Yes or no.
That's not fair to say, because that's
say yes or no and then answer. Then give me your reasoning. So yes or no, and then did you know that they had just touched it, the Republicans, just the night before? Yes or no, and then tell me why that answer.
Yes, but My thing is this. That's a very disingenuous argument, because there's a lot of fraud and very much so theft that no Democrat has caught on to for some odd reason. Maybe it benefited them. We don't know. But my thing is this: y'all was in power for X amount of long. Why did it take a billionaire to fix the problem? Because they always talk about the billionaire. Oh, why do you want Elon Musk? Why did it take that? This is my question to them wholeheartedly. Why did it take him for you to fix the problem? Yes, he touched Medicare. Yes, he touched these things because they falsified a lot of stuff. If he wouldn't have to touch it, if everybody did their job,
Like what? Like what? What did they falsify?
Look it up. Do you not see what they stole? It's like, bro,
Hold
why
on.
gotta be the
We're in a conversation right now, and one thing
yeah.
that I've tried to do, and I always try to do with you, is if I assert any points, I try my best to be able to back it up, to show you something. Never do I just tell you, go figure it out yourself. Well, if that's the case, then don't tell me at all.
But see, that's
Don't use it in your argument, but then don't have anything to stand on with it, because most people, come on, we online. We're in the world
and
of
everybody
being
got a
online.
phone. It's like, what?
We're in the world of being online. And so what we know is that once we go to a place to go look up how to make gumbo, they don't show us all the things. And then when it gets down to the seasoning, say, I don't know, go find somebody else, go look it up somewhere. No, I came here for it. I need all the ingredients for where I came for this information. So please don't do that. Please
Okay,
don't
so
do
this is very unfair because when it came to her saying the statistics about Trump, his thing getting lower and stuff like that, you looked it up. Why can't you look up what I'm telling you the same exact way? If I'm saying that these Democrats have like frauded the American people and the tax dollars, you don't think that we should change something? Like something needs to change. We need to cut the fat. You don't think so?
So I guess let me answer why I can do one thing. One thing was a very precise thing, an approval rating. That's easy to look up. You
Okay.
said the Democrats have been there and they've been for all this time and they've never done it. Why does it take a billionaire to fix the problem? First off, you ain't tell me the problem. Second off, we haven't even articulated what exactly he did to fix it. Third of all, we haven't even agreed that it was fixed. But like, what am I gonna search?
Are you not
What am I gonna look up?
you tuned in just as much as me? You didn't see what they found as far as the fraud and stuff, the audits what they found. You
I
never.
have.
You didn't.
Okay, so what you're talking about in my question, this is what I was just saying earlier. You got to be able to stay up. I asked you specifically about why did they touch the Medicare, the Social Security, and the Medicare. I asked you about that.
Because it was audited, just like everything else was audited. And if they found it
No,
wasn't, look
no,
it up.
no. That's not why. That's not why. That budget change had nothing to do. Okay. All right. I see. I got it. All right. You can ask me a question, while I look this up, because like I
Okay.
said, I'm gonna give you facts. We're not gonna just talk just for the sake of talking, just
Okay.
to try to prove a point. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you tell me, what issues do you have, or even if it's not a question, just your thoughts. You were speaking on Elon Musk. What do you think about Elon Musk, and his efforts so far? Him being a unelected official with the clearance that he's had, and the leeway that he's been given, and the pushback. Like your thoughts on him as a political entity now, when he was just literally a donor and a supporter.
I love it. My thing is, why did it take him to do everybody else's job? Because before there was an Elon Musk who was just a donor, there was somebody in the same position that Elon Musk was in. Why didn't they audit the system just like he did and find the same problems? Because everybody's complaining that it's Elon Musk. Don't shoot the messenger, shoot the message. What did he find? I don't give a crap if it was Elon Musk or his son. Why did they find so much fraud, waste, and abuse? Why? Why? Why did it take him to come and do it? Why do we need? If everybody's complaining about the billionaire, why did it take a billionaire to do a civil servant's job that been there for almost 30 some years, 40 some years? My question is that. And I love what he's doing. And he was elected because we voted for Trump, and Trump told us very much so what he's going to do and what position that Elon Musk is going to play. We voted for that. We wanted that. The American people voted for that. So when you have these federal judges coming around striking stuff down, and then at the end of the day, it gets sent to the Supreme Court, and they shut that down, saying, hey, he has every right to do that. How can you say he's unelected? How can you say it's how can you say it's unconstitutional? It's very constitutional. We elected him. The American people elected him. When you voted for Donald Trump and he told you his policies, that's what exactly we voted for. So he is elected.
So you're saying that if you elect if they elect a president, whoever he is, left or right, as long as he's told you or she has told you the policies that they plan to enact, that they can go get anybody to actually do the work. They can go get their kid, their neighbor, their
But
high
he's
school
but
coach.
he specifically said,
Hold on. You got to answer my question, man. Don't just jump to the next thing. Can they just go get anybody,
he's not
unelected,
anybody.
unvetted, no political background? I'm saying, can they get anybody? He
But
is anybody.
it's
He
not.
is.
But that's not fair for you because you're not a Trump supporter. He is not just anybody. Because just
No,
like Robert.
no. I
Let me
don't have
finish.
to be. No, I know I'm not, because I don't have to be a Trump supporter to speak to. That's black and white.
That's
You're
not
either
black and white.
elected. You're either elected or you're not. When it comes to the federal government, when I get ready to walk into a federal building, you're either already vetted to be in that building, or you need to have a purpose to be in that building. You need to show a security, go through security to get into that building. You need a clearance to get in a certain area. When you're starting to talk about federal, yes, it does matter. And it ain't, oh, because if I'm the whoever at a federal building, just because it's my best friend, I can't just bring him in.
Who
What
said
is
you
my best
can't?
friend?
Who said you can't?
I promise you can't.
Did he break the law? Why he?
No. Hold on. I'm talking. What I just said was what. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Stop trying to prove your point. What I said is, if I am hired to be in a federal position and I have a certain security clearance that other people, regular civilians, don't have, I can't bring my best friend just because he's my best friend and say, well, hey, you put me in here, so hey, he can come too. That's my boy.
But that's
You
not
can't
how
do
it.
that.
But see, that's disingenuous. It's not how it went.
How's
He
that this?
already had
You
a
going?
security clearance. He already had a security clearance. The,
All right.
the government have already. Come on, man. He do business with the government. That's not a random person. This now it's random because he's doing something that the Democrats don't like. At first they like him. Now I just don't want you touching this part. This is what I don't like about you. You ain't got no choice. You lost the election. Shut up. If you lost, you ain't got no choice because y'all didn't care when we were talking about when we lost. Hey, we don't like transgender. No, you guys lost. We gonna put them in your face, and we gonna make every commercial about transgenderism.
Did you as a person that lost say, oh, you're right, I lost, let me shut up?
If it's
Did you
about
say that?
no, they cheated.
Okay.
Why would I say that?
Okay. So what are
You're
you
not letting no
talking
cheater
about?
get away with that. Trump didn't cheat.
Oh, but you the cause
Yeah.
does not change the condition. So if you say, hey man, if she left you, you can't stalk her and go, hey, but she divorced me, so I can stalk her. Or she cheated on me, so I can stalk her. Like, no, you just can't stalk her. See, what you like to do is go back to the reason that I'm stalking to somehow give that some kind of validity or make it okay. So you're like, well, yeah, we can keep talking even though we lost because y'all cheated. But when y'all lost, you can't talk anymore because we didn't cheat. That doesn't make sense.
Because you lost fair and square. When you
Doesn't
cheat,
make
what
sense.
it's like it's like let's bring up football. It's like freaking Tom Brady deflating the balls and a team that lost, like, hey, what the shut up. Come on. No. We play fair and square. We have a right to argue with you. Yeah, but the Super Bowl's over. No, it's not. You took something from us. We got something to say to you. We're not going to shut up. That's not fair. You can't come to the drawing board and say the agreement is that we're gonna play fair, and then you cheat, and then say everybody shut up. That ain't how that works. That's not how that works.
All right, cool. Well, we're just gonna look into the past. Like I said, I didn't want to be talking about Democrats. You keep bringing them up.
You have to look at the difference. That's how that works.
You don't. And see that. And let me tell you why. It is no different than a new relationship, even if you had a relationship before, because your previous relationship is going to cause you to act a certain way in this new one. Whether it was good or bad, who you are today is nothing but a trace from who you were yesterday. That's it. So if you had a terrible relationship, guess what? You don't agree with that?
We're humans. You always bring in what you from what your papa taught you as a child, instilled in you. You gonna always like. I never heard of that. That's just crazy.
You never
That's
what?
what makes you who you are.
Right, right. So we agree.
But you telling me don't bring up the. That's who. That's
Hold on.
what makes you what you are.
So do we agree?
Sure, but you
Okay.
just said don't bring it
So
up.
okay. So when you're in your new relationship, can you be talking to your girl now about all the stuff about your old relationship?
She gonna see it if you talk about it or not.
I didn't ask you that. Yeah, you keep doing that.
She gonna ask you where that come from. Where did this come from?
So guess what? This is another thing that Republicans are more known for. Is this is this directness? Is this constant? It feels like a magic show. Like I asked you a specific question, you flip the words and answer a different question. I said, "Are you gonna?" She's gonna see it anyway. I didn't say is she gonna see it.
It's
Of course she's
simple.
gonna see it. It's you.
But I'm
So
telling
my
you this.
question is,
So don't bring
are
up slavery. Nobody brings up slavery then.
there it is. There, ladies and gentlemen, this is this is this is normal. This is not, he doesn't even notice it. He doesn't even notice it. This is normal. Even if the camera wasn't on right now, this is normal. I do this all the time with him. I'm like, you're all over the place. Why are we talking about that now? Why are we talking about Dave Soros now? Or Jeff Soros? Why are we talking about, how are we talking about mechanical flies? Well, because aren't there flies? Didn't they make those mosquitoes? It's like, I'm not saying that they didn't. I'm just trying to deal with this conversation about the school issue.
I'm making
This
a point.
this is how, but you're always making other points. There's both
It's
of
not
us have a
another
ton of
point.
points
It
to make.
correlates to the
Listen,
conversation.
both of us have a ton of points to make. It cannot be a productive conversation unless we can find a topic to stay on and make the points about that topic. You like to just make points just about.
What?
You do. You make points about.
Your argument was don't bring up the past because it truly doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that if that's the case, why so many people bringing up statistic racism? Because it's what is it rooted in? They basically bringing up slavery. When you go back into the statistic racism, I mean systemic racism, you go back to slavery and how the inconsistencies happen between black people and white people and the kick they had up during that time. So you have to explain the past in order to understand what the hell you're talking about. If you don't, it's like what's systemic racism? Where did it come from? Oh, don't even talk about where it came from. Where about what happened now? That don't how it work.
So here, let me just say this, and then we're gonna get into D.E.I, and then we might wrap it up for today. So
All right.
at least let me tell you why I was saying what I was saying, because you answered so many other questions that you never allowed me to get to the point.
Mm-hmm.
My point was not that, of course, you're all the that's the point I was trying to make, is that you're connected to all of your history. My point was, but when it is time to talk about how amazing your current girlfriend is, you don't need to talk about comparing her to the last girlfriend. My point was, if there's something beautiful about the thing that is before you or the thing that you are in the midst of right now, you literally can just talk about the thing right now. You don't have to go, oh man, she's great because the last girl didn't even cook for me and she does. She's great because, my mama, she used to say that and then she does. She's great because my homeboy wife, she blah, blah, blah. But you don't have to do that. So you always say the only way I can talk about it is by telling you about these other things. And I'm telling you that is not true. That's what you choose. Hold on.
The administration was last
Hold
month.
on. That's what you that is what you choose to do. And a lot of times you choose to not try to hear and listen to what I'm saying. You're really listening to where can you rebut? Where can you refute what I'm saying? Instead of trying to find, okay, can I understand the place that he's coming from? Because I'm constantly trying to find a place of where you're coming from. Like I said, I've nodded with you. I've agreed with you. There's times that I'm like, yeah, well, but why this? Okay, I'm with you on that. If we're talking about that, I do that with you. You sit and listen and wait and wait and wait and then go, why? Like that's you. That's you. So my only point in saying that was just to say, it don't matter if you just broke up with the girl last night. If you got a dope girl you just met today, and someone asks you why you like her, you still don't have to talk about your relationship from yesterday. So saying the administration was just last month, it don't matter how recent it was. It really don't matter. You genuinely should be able to. When I was talking about the stuff, and I didn't really do a lot of it online just because a lot of the conversations didn't go there. But when I was talking about in my personal life, the bills that Biden was doing, I didn't say, well, Biden's doing this and it's better than Trump did. I didn't bring up Trump at all. I was just talking about the things that I actually did like that Biden did. And I talked about things that I didn't like that Biden did. And I talked about things that, with the Democrats that I just didn't like. I talked about things with Democrats that I did like. I never had to make this constant comparison of I like this because they this, or I don't like this because they that, or I'm okay with this because they did. I didn't do that.
But you got to understand that's how humans work. How do you know?
That's how you work. Not everybody does that.
How do you know that? How do you know that you're in the best country in the world? You look at other countries to pinpoint what that looks like. We have a device in our hand right now to compare what communism really looked like on paper. What it looks like. There's communist countries out here. You want communism in this country? Look at other countries, see how that turned out. History, it matters, but also, like, that doesn't make sense not to bring up history. Like, in order
you did it again. You did it again.
But I'm saying that's history. Saying that what happened in the past, right? The last election. In order to know that we got it good, you have to compare it to something. Other than that, what are we comparing it to?
It's not true. You don't in your example, you don't have to go look at communism to know that what you live right now, if you like it or not. You don't have to do that. You can look at your life. You can look at the community around you. You can look at your opportunities. You can look at the voting. You can look at your kids' schools. You can look how you worship. You can look at your medical situation, and you can say, I love this. Period. Without looking at communism, without looking at authoritarianism, without looking at anything else, you can say, I love this. What you're saying is, if I wanted to compare it to say if this is better than something else, that's a different story. I ain't say nothing about comparing. You keep making it a comparison. I'm talking about just addressing the thing that you're in. And you don't have to look up communism to find out or to know if you love the American experience. That's not true.
Okay, but other than that, you just asking me opinions, and an opinion don't have to be factual. That's not a grassroots understanding of an opinion. But if I have to have some point of reference, if I don't have a point of reference, then I'm just talking. What do I refer it to? If I'm telling you that something is good, I got to tell you what bad looks like.
But your opinion doesn't have to be factual.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
But if you ask me, hey, Christian, but if you say, hey, Christian, why do you like this? Well, the last administration, it was like this. We came from this. It's like doing business.
And that could be false.
But no, that's not an opinion. I'm showing you the fact. Like, they were for LGBTQ rights.
I mean, but that is your opinion, because obviously not everybody thought that, because they would have voted for him again. Right? Not everybody thought that, so it is an opinion.
We won. The majority won. What are you
saying? No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. You changing it again. That's not what I'm saying. You just said it's not an opinion, your thoughts about the last administration. I'm saying it is, because if it was just fact, then every single person would have to feel the same way. Gravity is a fact. It don't matter what you think or feel about it. Gravity is a fact.
Right, but what I'm saying is that when you ask me why I like something, right, in order to put standing on it, and it's not Christian just telling you, oh, I like this because I like Trump. I'm telling you, this was happened before us, and this is what's happening now. I'm trying to give you the statistics of the difference. Like, it's like saying I'm going to a new company. Hey, I could raise your company up. Pay me this much. What have you done, sir? Don't look at my past. I'm talking about now. What have you done for me to even listen to you?
I agree with that.
I'm trying my best to pinpoint side by side. This is the difference.
I completely agree with that.
I'm trying. That's what I'm doing. It's not that I'm trying to deviate from the conversation. It's like, bro, I have no other point of reference other than that.
That's my point. I'm glad you said that. That is my point. My point is, and this is coming from as best of a bipartisan view that I can. When you say I have no other basis, that is what it feels like sometimes when people are celebrating Trump. It feels like, and I used to say this about Trump. I used to say, it's not that I don't really have a whole lot against him. I don't agree with him, but I've noticed that a lot of times when I hear people talk about how much they love him, it sounds like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So it
Oh yeah,
sounds
for
like
sure.
people, it's not about him, but they really don't like how the Democrats this, and he don't like how the Democrats that. So now I like him. And so that's why I feel like every conversation turns into this comparison model, and not just like you said, it's not substantiated by anything on its own. It's not just a look at Trump. It is a look at Trump versus or in comparison to X, Y, and Z. And so
Right.
you admitted it. I appreciate that. That helps a lot of my understanding of how you view things. And you just said twice that my opinion does not have to be factual. And that is very interesting to me. I'm not going to dig into it right now because I did promise that we would go into DEI. I mean, there were so many things you very very craftily navigated right around the lie that he just told. I mean, it's crazy how much. And I wanted to ask you that because Republicans are very big on talking about how Democrats believe all of these lies from their politicians and they just keep voting for them, but they keep lying to them. And so then I'm showing you a lie that literally just happened this week. And you're already like, well, I mean, what else is he going to do? Y'all couldn't do it. It's like, okay, but that's not the point. I'm not even challenging what he did. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I don't know if you should take money from those programs or not. I have no, I have zero intellectual level of not capability, but integrity in those areas to speak to them. I'm talking about what happened. And what happened was that a guy that you guys look at as being the truth, the guy that you guys look at as being the person that is standing up for all of the lies that the politics push and all of the evil that politicians move. I'm saying that guy multiple times, I'm just using this one because it happened this week, multiple times over has said, I'm going to do this and did not. He said, I am going to, if they don't release all the prisoners on before I take office on day one, then hell will be released. Did not happen. He said, I will, I don't, this Project 2025, it's out there. I don't want to read it. I'm not going to read it. I don't want to read it. Guess what? There are so many similarities in all the moves that he's made from Project 2025 to right now that I know you haven't looked at by that reaction. We'll go over that another time as well. You probably haven't even read Project 2025. Matter of fact, I know you haven't. I know you haven't because if you haven't really studied your Bible, as you say, but I know you're a Christian, right? You're like a Christian, right? But you haven't really studied your Bible. I know you ain't read no 900-page Project 2025. So I don't even know how you can respond or react when I say that all of these things that he's done are in alignment with it. How you know?
Uh,
How do you even know?
because I listen to what people have to say on both sides. On
So
both sides.
third hand.
Well, third hand is mostly everything. Like you're gonna hear third hand. You're gonna hear people's opinion about it.
You don't have to be. You could just read it. I mean,
Yeah, but
it's broken down very easily. So if you want to find out about if you want to find out about
well,
DEI, you can go straight to that. Foreign policy, you can go straight to that.
But what I'm saying is that I focus on what people have a problem with. I could read it and I could agree with most of it. Doesn't matter. What do you have a problem with? What's the problem?
The problem is what I just said, that he lied.
Bro, but he didn't lie because
he did lie.
But most of the 2025, the agenda 2025, he agreed with, and I agree with most of it. But not everything he falling right in line and doing, because most people talking about he's gonna bring back slavery and this. What are you talking about?
I'm not getting into that, but that is not what he said. He did
But
not say
a lot of people say it.
He did not say that he agrees with it. He did not say he agrees with it.
Okay, but I didn't say
he actually said it was ridiculous and abysmal. Those were his words.
Yes.
So no. Don't change it. And now when he's doing it, say, hey, he agreed with most of it. No, he did not.
No, I said do.
No. You said both. Anybody that's watching, go back. He said both. You said he said that he agrees with it, and so do I. That's what you said.
I never heard him say he agreed with it.
Well, then why'd you? Well, I guess like you said, your opinions don't have to be factual. So
But
there
he
you
never
go.
said it. Even if you try to look it up, he never said he agreed with it though. I wouldn't even say that.
All right. So DEI.
Yeah.
What does DEI mean to you?
Racist, racism.
Okay.
That's basically what it is.
Explain.
Basically saying that we need more black people in this spot. I don't care if they qualify or not. We just need to give them a leg up because we feel bad for them, even if they don't qualify. We gotta diversify this company because black people need to be here, not because they're qualified and they're more fit for the job. It's just that, it's just that they're black or Asian. It's not just black people, just any diverse anything to diversify the company. That's what I believe. And that's what's happening now. It's not like back then how white people totally shun black people out of the workplace and say, I'm not having no black people here. None. Now it's like, well, we got XYZ amount of white people. We need XYZ amount of black people. What does that infer? Because if white people did the same exact thing that we doing, calling D.E.I, then what would we call it? But when it comes to black people, we understand. People understand. Everybody's so understanding. So my thing is this. In order to make something fair, you got to put it in both perspectives. So if white people did the same exact thing that we calling DEI, how would you feel? As long as it's against white people, it's on the board. It's on the board. Everything's on the board as long as it's against white people. But when it comes to us, you bet not do it. It's unfair. It's unjust. Racism in reverse, right? We becoming the same things that we don't like. And we're forcing people to deal with us. It's that simple. If they don't want to hire you, why you want to be in an establishment in the first place? I want somebody that want me. That's how I feel. If they don't want you, why are you forcing them to want you? Because soon as Trump cut the funding or cut it off, you get fired because they never wanted you in the first place. They just had to have you. That doesn't mean you qualify. And it affects the bottom line of the quality of work. It's just like in a union. And I'm not trying to speak out against women, but in a union, they need to diversify, construction. We need more women on the job. Does that mean it's better quality work? No. It just means that we need more women. Look at LA Fires. LA Fires, they got a whole bunch of women chiefs. And she said, and a woman chief said out of her mouth, well, if I got to pick your man up in a fire, he probably put himself in the wrong spot.
You said
the quality of work.
A whole bunch of women chiefs? Is that what you said?
No, it's only one woman chief.
But you said in LA, the LA Fires, you said they have a whole bunch of women chiefs.
You nitpicking. What I'm saying is, it could at the end of the day, there's a whole bunch of women in power inside the fire department that can't do the job. When I'm in trouble, I need her to pick me up. If she can't pick me up, why is she there? Simple as that. So you're destroying the quality of work.
But just her, like
plenty of women. It's not just her, but she's the chief. She's over everybody. So of course I'm gonna pinpoint her.
I mean, but why? Because usually the chief, isn't the one that's doing all the hard work. So why are you pointing?
But if you can't, usually it's called merit based. If a person been a firefighter for a very long time, they get to that point because they put in that work. Why is she there if she cannot do the job? It's not. It only makes you can't even tell me what to do if you ain't putting enough work. It's like sales.
How do you know she didn't put in enough work?
She can't lift nobody.
Okay, but
what did you do?
I need you to substantiate your claim before I speak to it. For you to say it's merit based.
Yes, it should be merit based for sure.
It should be, which assumes that it's not currently.
Of course, it's not.
It assumes that you're saying that the only reason she's the chief is because she's a woman.
Facts.
How? Okay. Now you just said your opinion doesn't have to be factual, but now you're blurting out.
Has to. I'm bringing it up because
then don't say facts. So then don't say facts. You can't do both.
That's a fact. She can't look as a firefighter.
Okay, so hold on. So let me finish my question. Let me finish my question. So what you are saying is that you have looked into her work history and you know that she did nothing outside of being a woman to obtain the position that she has in the department. That's what you're saying.
I'm telling you that I listened to what
Yes or
she said.
no?
No, you can't do that. You have to have
That is a,
context.
did you do research? Is an
Context
easy
matters.
yes or no
The
question.
context matters. You can't just say
Of
yes or no.
research?
Context matters.
No, it not of research.
Yes, I'm telling you the research.
When I asked you, did you read your Bible, which is research?
And I told you, but I told you the truth.
You easily just said, "Nah, not really." You gave me an answer. You didn't have to say, "Hold on, let me tell you the context." I just had a baby,
You asked, but
and I move a lot, and I'm working graveyard shift. I have really bad night tremors. You just told me, so just tell me the answer, bro.
But me reading the Bible is totally. I could tell you in my personal life, I don't really like that. I'm being 100% honest. But also, you can have a point of reference of what you were taught to understand what the hell's going on right now. You can refer to what you were taught. You can open up some chapters to understand what's going on. But I'm not gonna lie and say I open it up every single day. That's a lie. But I'm also telling you that if you ask me a question about a fire chief that said that I'm not lifting nobody. You telling me all your years, if you feel this way now, that you've been lifting people? Come on, that's your requirement. That's your requirement. That's a requirement.
You are minimizing the professional responsibilities of a fire chief to can they pick you up?
But no,
you are literally reducing all of her intellect, all of her training, all of her capabilities, all of her leadership characteristics, all of her leadership characteristics, all of her education. Like you're minimizing reducing all that to can you pick me up? There's other men that can't pick you up. Let's keep it gangster.
Then they should not be a fire chief. It's that simple. Other men know that. I'm not gonna be the leader of people that could do more than me for my.
I gotta stop letting you do this to me. I gotta stop letting you do this to me. Like pulling me into these naive conversations about nothing really.
It is about something because at the end of the day, if you can't do the job, have enough morality to say, I'm not going to be in this place to hold everybody else down.
Morality.
Yes.
So now she has a lack of moral character because she can't pick up Christian.
No, because she can't pick up humans. That's her job. So they're going to get burnt up because of her. It's like my job being a serve and protector. If I can't serve and protect, what am I here for? It's simple. It's not that hard to understand. It's like you trying to break it down to, she has better other qualities. We don't care about that. Your whole full job is to protect and serve when people are in a point of help, at a point of needing help. If you can't do that, leave. It's simple. Leave. If there's men that can pick up more than you and do your job better than you, they should be there. That have been there longer than you. Not because you're a woman. I don't care that you've been at a company for 20-some years. That don't mean you was doing shit. Because there's a whole bunch of women that's in the union right now who ain't never picked up nothing. Who ain't never did nothing. But they could say, well, I've been here 20 years. That don't mean nothing, though. What have you done? What have you done? Because, like you said, her moral character, you're just making an assumption. It's not an assumption. What fire chief would come up and say this? Well, if your husband's in the wrong spot, that's not even moral. That don't even make sense. You basically telling me under your leadership, I'm gonna die because I'm in the wrong spot when there's a fire.
Okay, so in reality, without talking opinions that can be factual and cannot be, I guess
every opinion is
in the reality of it. Looking at the responsibility and role of a fire chief, so they do have administrative responsibilities, emergency management responsibilities, and fire prevention and suppression responsibilities. And none of these are lifting a certain amount of weight, part of their requirements. They are the chief. Now, under firefighters, you will find more of the physical capabilities listed in their responsibilities. But as it pertains to the conversation that you brought up about the LA fires, emergency management, which that was definitely an emergency here. Heart still goes out to all the people affected by that. It says respond to emergencies as a senior command officer. Senior command officer. You should understand what that role does and how it is not the person that's picking up people inside the fire, because they also need to develop and maintain the emergency operations plan and ensure the department has the resources to respond to emergencies, which means in those resources, that is part of personnel as well. So it is not her responsibility to run into the fire, because we need the senior chief, the senior command officer, to be abreast of everything that's going on at this particular emergency. We don't need her upstairs on the 3rd floor carrying Christian downstairs. We need her making sure that all floors have all resources needed to sufficiently handle this emergency. I'm saying all this because everything that you just said sounds like you heard it from someone else. I'm just keeping it real with you. Everything that you just said sounded like you listened to people that talked about the issue that went on in LA with zero true understanding or compassion or even respect. To say, like, hold on, what is her title? What did she do to get hold on. What did she do to get that title? And hey, forget it. Not even dealing with her. What does a fire chief do? Let me find that out before I create an idea of, why are you at this job? You can't even pick me up. Like, okay, so now you're missing it, because clearly, even when I said she's the chief, I already know they got way more stuff to do. That's like you telling me, dude, how do you own the McDonald's? You don't even know how long the fry is supposed to be on. Are you crazy? You don't even know how to set the timer. What? You don't know where we keep the 409? And you own the place? Like, come on. You only got this place because you Indian. That's how that sounds. And unfortunately, there are people that are going to hear this and go, yo, Cash is right. And there are people that are going to hear this and go, nah, Compton Conservative is right.
It's SouthCentral Conservative.
Compton Conservative. And but because of that, this is kind of why I wanted to bring this up. It never allows us to even try to be on the same page, because we're too starkly standing on our own side. Like, bro, DEI is not just a racial thing. It just turned racial when it became a talking point in a campaign over these past few years. It is not just about race.
What is it about?
I'll tell you.
You said not just about?
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood ain't just about abortions. That's what they do. What? That's their main course. What are you talking about? Man, y'all trying so hard.
I don't know that to be true. I don't know much about Planned Parenthood, but what I do know is Planned Parenthood does hand out contraception. I do know that they also deal with abortions. I do know they also deal with therapy. I do know they also deal with postpartum. I do know they also deal with finding resources to make sure that nutrition levels are proper. So I do know there's a lot of levels. Now, what do we focus on? I don't know what they mainly do. I'm being honest. I don't know. I know what's mainly talked about. It's like you. Do you mainly do YouTubes? No. But because people don't know everything that you do, they will assume, well, I heard he has a son. I heard he has a girl. I heard he's in a union. They know you do these other things, but in their eyes, they mainly see you do this. That doesn't mean that that's mainly what you do. That's just because that's what they experience from you, or what they hear about. We're talking about what?
A company.
Okay.
It's like, what's their main course? What do they usually make? Taco Bell make burgers. What do they usually do?
I'm being, if you're saying that you know for a fact that Planned Parenthood mainly does abortions, cool, that's your opinion. I'm saying that I don't know. I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is I have the capability to say I don't know. And I've never heard that to be true. I know plenty of people that use Planned Parenthood and had nothing to do with an abortion. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know that. I just don't know. I know people that were going to Planned Parenthood just to get coupons to go to motherhood to get food. It had nothing to do with an abortion. They had a kid.
I know a whole bunch of people that go to Taco Bell and order burgers.
But okay, but that's a whole nother story. It's not called abortions are us. That's a different story. You picking Taco Bell and then saying they also serve burgers. Okay, it's
But
more like saying, but doesn't um Stater Brothers mainly sell like the butchery, like fresh meat? I don't know. It's a whole grocery store. Maybe they do. It might be like 70% of their market share for all I know. I just don't know.
I hear you, man. I hear
So,
you.
but back to her. I think it's unfair. I think it's really unfair for anybody to point at anybody, you included, even Trump. I've even defended Trump with people saying like, well, hold on. That's just them saying that. Like, let's find out what. That's how I ended up watching so much stuff from Trump, because I didn't want to be told what he said. I come back and tell you what he said sometimes. There are sometimes that you didn't listen to it.
Because you
I
take
remember
stuff.
watching the whole RNC and coming back asking you, why did he say that? And you're like, I ain't watched that. So I actually take in information,
No,
but I do it.
you doing it later. I've done it already.
Oh, no. What do you mean later?
He's literally said the same thing all the time. Like I've watched him. I watched him before it was not okay to watch him. You just caught on. I've been there.
That's
So
not okay.
everything
That's fair. You're right. I've been caught on. But to say he's saying the same thing over and over is
he
not
kind of does.
true. It can't be true. And I'm basing that off you, because you just said it's always something. He's always doing something. That's why we can't keep up. It was always just the same thing
Now,
over and
I'm
over.
talking about passing bills. I'm talking about his presidency right now. It's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Epstein files. It's a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm not saying that has nothing to do with what he's saying. It has a lot to do with what he's doing right
All right, hold on. What did somebody say? This is this is sad. You're so brainwashed by white people that you believe this is a white versus black issue. Yo, I hate to tell you, but when it comes to this whole DEI issue, it has been weaponized. It has been weaponized by the right. And the funniest thing about it, and I want you to Google it, all right? I want you to Google very generically. Matter of fact, do it right now. I know you can open another window. I'll keep talking. Open a window and type in who primarily benefits from DEI. That should be an easy answer for you to answer. That should be simple. But when you see the response, I want you to tell the public what it is and how you feel about that response. Since you said it's all about black people, letting black people in, black people, and wanting black people, ain't enough black people. What does it say?
now. White women.
White women.
Women. Period.
White women, not just women. White women.
The majority of the country.
You started this. You started this as a black issue. It does not matter if they're the majority of the country. That don't matter. That don't matter. That don't matter at all. Because when we talk about poverty, they're the majority of the country. The country. We don't talk about them.
I just said it. We do talk. I told you we forget about them.
When we talk about gun violence, when we talk about gangs, we just talk about only black people. When we talk about hoods, we only talk about black people. There's white hoods. There's white people in gangs.
For sure.
We don't talk about that. So I'm not trying to hear that. Oh, it's most of the. No. You said when I asked you about what do you think of DEI, first thing you said was it's racist.
To me, it is.
Okay, that ain't got nothing to do with a white woman.
You said who benefits more, but that's not the argument. It's still a racist thing because black people benefit from it. That doesn't need to be there. White women, period, should not. They put in spaces that they should not be in. Period. I don't give a crap if it's white, black, Asian.
How? Even though I know that everything you're saying doesn't have to be true, how do you know that? Without telling me what somebody else said, without smirking because you've heard it so much online. What I'm asking you, my friend, is how do you know exactly what you just said?
Do you not know the history of
You don't answer a question. I know you learned that before. You don't answer a question with a question.
Yeah, but do you know the history of DEI? Like
You,
who
you,
would
you don't answer a question with a question. How do you know?
because at the end of the day, there's a lot of black people in these
You went straight to black
companies.
people again. Okay, go ahead.
Nope. Black people in these companies is also gay people in these companies. Is also white women. Period. That doesn't fit the description for the job.
How
Like
do you know?
the fire chief. When you said her,
I
no,
just told
no,
you her whole description.
I'm telling you how I know. I'm telling you how I know. The fire chief. You said she
I
has
told you
different
not to make me mad today. I told you not to.
the fire chief, different responsibilities now, right? But in order, I don't know if you know, I did fire alarm. In order for you to become a fire inspector, fire chief, you have to have some type of resume to do that. Now, a fire chief is over who? Firefighters, right? A lot of times it's a trickle down effect when it comes to becoming a fire chief, just like it is becoming a sheriff. A lot of times you are in the law enforcement in the first place. So you telling me this person is a fire chief who's over all of the firefighters who's supposed to serve and protect when things get bad. You telling me she sent out her mouth on a commercial that right? This is how she feel. This is our leader. This is the person you go to if you have to file a complaint against her department, saying that if he in the wrong spot, well shit. Huh? You telling me this is the person that for so long, served for so long that she knows the responsibilities of the firefighter she has up under her, and she's saying shit like that? She's not qualified, bro. She's not qualified because as a firefighter, as me knowing firefighters, they're very, very passionate about their job. It don't seem like she's passionate about her job at all. She's just there. How did she get there?
All right. So, when was DEI enacted?
I don't know. That's the
Like,
history of it.
when did that start? Hmm?
I'm looking it up now.
1965. Lyndon Johnson issued executive order which required government employers to hire without regard to race, religion, or national origin, and take affirmative action to ensure that applicants are employed and that employees are treated during employment without regard to their race. Okay. Um, which is so funny because that makes so much sense, right?
It doesn't make sense because why do they ask for your race, and then why in predominantly white jobs they force diversity? Where did that come from?
Hold on. All I said was that made sense. What I just read to
But it
me,
doesn't make it makes sense to
to me,
you, but
to
on
me.
paper, just like communism, it makes sense. But when enacted, that's not what they're saying. Well, they saying that well, it shouldn't matter your religion, your race, or anything. But they ask you about your religion. They don't ask you about your religion, but they ask you about your race when you apply for a job. If it didn't matter, why are they asking you? Because they care. It's a lie. It's a big fat lie. And then when you look at the statistics, especially when it comes to the fire department and certain demographics, they want certain color of firefighters. Why is that? If this was just for and wholeheartedly right, this law, the DEI law, basically, if it was solely not to judge, basically, you just basically saying don't judge, don't matter about the race. And why do they ask that question? Why do they push for more diversity? Why? Where did it come from? Where did it start from? Who's enforcing it? I want to know. If that's not the law that people were referring to, what did it come from? Somebody lying.
Okay.
Because there's a quota. Even in the union, there's a quota. Who made the quota? If they're not supposed to care about race, religion, or anything, who made the quota up? Who?
That I can't answer. I don't know how much um, how important that is to what we're talking about, but I will, venture into it with you. So you're saying that why is it on there if it's not important? So do you believe that everything on a job application is then important? When they ask you to tell me You know, your last 3 schools you went to when you applying for a job at Macy's. You think that's important to them?
No, but when you ask something specific as race, what's the purpose of it? Like, there has to be a purpose of it.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying that there's no purpose. I'm not saying that. But I am just trying to open your mind a bit, even if I don't have the answer, to at least get us into a process of thought, right? Ideally that's what we all want to be, is progressive in our thought, in our thinking. We want to keep moving the needle forward. And so if we're going to make a statement like, well, if it's on the application, that means it's important. Why? It's clearly important to you. Why you ask me? Then okay, now we've said that everything on the application now has to be important.
Okay, so this is just where I bring up
But you
context.
just said that there's
No,
something that wasn't.
no, all right. This is where we bring up context. The whole conversation was about DEI, right?
Mhm.
If it doesn't matter, but you're saying they have a quota and they bringing up your race within the application, obviously it, you got to put 2 and 2 together. It makes sense. The context matters. So if you're asking my race and you have to meet a quota, that's why it matters. You got to
Okay.
diversify a company. If
Okay.
not, it looks bad.
Okay.
Because guess what? We live in a world society in society now. If there is an all white company, niggas gonna complain. I don't give a crap what nobody say. They're gonna complain. All white male company. Guess
Okay.
who gonna come out and start protesting and complaining? So they're not stupid.
Okay. So let's just say you're right. Let's say you're right. Let's say you're right, and that it is important to them. They
Yep.
do want to diversify. They do appreciate the diversification in their company. They believe that a room full of any one particular or the same style of thinker is not a benefit to the furtherance of the company. Let's just say that. I could argue that's what I'm doing now. I didn't bring on someone who also thinks that everything that Trump is doing is wrong. I brought on someone who does think that Trump is doing right, so that we can actually have a conversation. And the idea, at least for me in producing the show, is to be a little better by the end of it. Either you or me or the viewer. So I am trying to achieve a certain level of ascension by bringing in diversity. That's the point. My issue is, or question is, how did diversity turn into such a bad thing? Because I'm
Because
pretty sure that you watch sports.
yeah,
What's your favorite sport?
football.
Football. Okay. Favorite team?
I don't really have one, but
Team
let's
that
say
you like?
Ravens.
All right, Ravens. Perfect example. If the whole team was trying to think of someone. I don't want to use Henry because he can kind of do everything if you let him. Um what's your kicker's name?
Tucker.
Tucker. Tucker. If your entire team was a perfect exact example, I mean replica of the build of Tucker. Same thing. Every position, both sides of the field, both sides of the ball, including special teams. How dominant do you think that team would be?
Not at all, I don't think, but I wouldn't
Not at
care.
all. Not at all. You wouldn't care. Fine. But the team would not be as successful because you got all the same thing. Everybody's the same. The reason that football teams look the way they do is because we need different things from different people. The
I,
same person can only bring us the same thing over and over. But maybe if we have this guy that grew up in Ohio and that kid that grew up in Jacksonville and that kid that grew up in LA, and they all have different builds and backgrounds and energies and personalities and thinkings and vision and view and capability, we put all that together, and we can now have a very complex group that allows us to have a very proficient team. Why can't a business be looked at the same way without it turning into it's racist?
The reason is because what if the company don't want to do that?
What
What if the
company?
company just doesn't want to do that? They don't agree with it. This is
What
freedom.
company?
This is a free country.
What
And
company?
any company. I'm just saying, if I was a black man,
Uh-huh.
want motherfuckers that know how to cook soul food, I want all black folks. I don't want nobody saying nothing to me about nothing.
Okay.
This is they best fit for the job because they know what soul food tastes like. They understand it. They get it. They're good at it.
Okay.
I don't want nobody coming from Timbuktu to come and complain to me that it's all black people here. Why? Who cares? So what?
Okay.
You
Okay.
have an all black staff, sir. Why don't you have a white person here? So I do add the white person, but I treat them bad because I really don't want them here.
But
I'm
why,
just
why,
forced to
why are you just treating them bad?
because I don't want him here. Like I just had to have him here because he at this point he adds no value to the team because I want all good cooks here that know
Yeah,
about
but
the.
hold on. So, because you're saying two different things. Because you didn't say that you brought on the white guy and he's a terrible cook. Because there are white men that can cook. We can agree with that. So why don't you just bring on a white guy that can cook? Solves your
Because
problem.
like I was trying to explain to you, I want him to understand the culture of soul food. I want him to understand the a lot of white folks don't understand the culture of it. They're not from this. They don't come from that. I want people that look like me that understand the culture of this.
But
So
what?
when they come here,
So,
they can have the ultimate experience of
okay.
soul food because you can explain to them why you feed them the food. Oh, this is where this come from. Da 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 da. This person don't know nothing about that. So what could he add to my team other than
Okay,
just
cool.
I have to have him here?
Cool. All right, then I'll give you that. I could go down the reasons of how you could work that out and have a sous chef that is white that brings something to the table and maybe elevates those soul food dishes, but have your hardcore main chefs be people that know the culture. But without even going into that, you could just hire him as something else. You
Yeah, but
could
what
just
if I don't?
you can hire him to do marketing. Let's say you just so racist is what it sounds like right now. But let's just say you're so it has to only be black people. I don't want another background in this building because I'm trying to create the perfect atmosphere for the people that come here to dine. Let's say that's how you feel. Cool. Hire him to be your marketing guy and go outside and try to find some places where we can put up a food truck.
But you forcing me. What if I could hire a black guy that I like, that I want, that could do the same thing, but he could do it better because he understands where I'm coming from. So I don't come off as aggressive to him because I'm from the same culture as him. So if I tell him to do something, he won't be so offended that a black man is roaring at him or whatever the hell. At the end of the day, it's choice. The thing that I'm talking about is choice. If I
I
don't
know, I
want him
know,
here,
I know,
if I
I,
don't want him here, I don't gotta have him here. It's just that simple.
I know, but that I agree with you that
That's an
is
American way.
I agree with you that is the thing. And I choose not to go into it because I'll be 100% honest talking to another black man about how choice is the American way and the way that we were chosen to be dealt with is a really difficult conversation for me to even have with another brother looking at me, telling me anything that's not on the same page as me. You talking about trying to put together a restaurant with people that understand the culture and that you can talk with. The fact that I can't talk with you about that tears my restaurant up. Tears my restaurant up. I'm being 100% honest with you. So I'm not even going to go there. But if you want to talk about choice, at least today, being the American way, cool. Unfortunately, what you said earlier, and I agree with, also applies. But you are your history. You are your history. Even as a country, you are your history. It wasn't like we in Wakanda and all of a sudden there's a white chef. You brought them here. You brought all these people here. You opened the doors and said, come here. Some came illegally. Some shouldn't be here. Some were sent here under wrongful terms. I'll give you all that. But that's not all of it. There's also a lot that you celebrated because you benefited from it. There's also a lot that you got to take responsibility for. So, to your point of you are your past and everything that since your daddy told you that thing is you today, how all of a sudden do you think you can decide, you know what, I know I've been doing this whole like we're together and all the way back since when was it, 1965, Lyndon B Johnson was talking about us having more diversity and treating people the right way and blah blah blah, but you know what, I just choose that that's racist now. I just choose it. Yeah. Now I don't want it no more. You can't, Christian can't all of a sudden right now decide to say, you know what? I wasn't from the hood. I don't want all that. That ain't my background. I ain't telling. I don't even connect with that no more. That wasn't me. I wasn't raised by my mama. I raised me. I was raised with my friends. Like we did our own thing. You can't change that. That's usually my issue is that with this idea. We haven't even really gotten into DEI that much because truthfully, you're like a lot of people that I talk to or hear about, really both, even at work. There's a disassociation with what it is attempting, and the focus on the areas of where maybe it went wrong because everything goes wrong. Every policy has a chance to go wrong. Every program has a chance to go wrong. The problem is throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and not being willing to say, if I not programs and now I take $880 billion out, who's affected? See, you're only focused on the, oh, that sounds good. They took money. That's great because there's a lot of waste and it needed to be revamped and it needed to be restructured. And look at all these people that weren't doing anything. Cool. But what about the people that were? That got caught in it? My cousin's in that. So you can shake your head all you want. My cousin is involved in that right now, and I know him. He ain't that type. He's not that guy.
But for every extreme, there's another extreme. If you keep taking advantage of people, what you think gonna happen? Sometimes the bully get beat up, worse than he beat up everybody else.
Okay.
Like,
So
you gonna get
so
it
many
all.
words with that kind of thinking, and so many words. If they start to look at it like, and this is never gonna happen, hopefully, but if they start to look at it like the black men that are here that have children and wives, but they're still not making $100,000 a year, are just not really adding to the vision of the America that we see in the future. We really need to deport them somewhere and get them out of here. I mean, it's not that they're bad people. They're just our new vision. They're not quite hitting that level. Again, this is I'm not saying a literal thing. So don't go into the how could that happen? It's not going to happen. What I'm saying is your comparison of, well, hey, sometimes things just happen. It could be good for one person, bad for another. Hey, they get rid of all the money. Sorry you lost your job, but hey, they got rid of the person that was screwing up. Cool. Well, Christian gets looped into the same group of people that don't really got no jobs, that's hanging out in the corner, that's deadbeat dads because he's also making less than 100,000. So hey, sorry, that's just the threshold. Sorry, you just kind of got swept in that. You're saying you're okay with that.
What I'm saying is that just like how a new regime happens, it's like a new football coach. Some niggas getting cut. You was a good football player, but new regime, niggas getting cut. Sorry. It happens every single day. Niggas getting cut, niggas getting traded. Same thing in college. You sign up for a scholarship, you play for this team, new coach, he don't want you no more. He bringing his own crew in. It happens every single day. Why now are people complaining? Why now? It happens every single day. New regime, everything changes. If not, then what are we doing? That's what we voted for. I hate to say it, but there's residuals. Some people get hit that ain't supposed to because they sat when they had it good. Because when they had it good,
casualties, not residuals.
Yeah, well, casualties. At the end of the day, when everything was going good, nobody said nothing. When everybody was eating, just like the illegal immigrants, they was here doing their thing. Everybody was cool. But soon as Trump get in and start enforcing the law, hey, what about all them years you was here sending money back to your family? What'd you do with that? You had your fun. You came here illegally. You had your fun. Now it's time to get the consequences. That's how life works. I don't understand life without consequence. I don't get it.
Okay. David Grimes said it's located between Mexican and Russian territories. So calling it the Gulf of America makes no sense. I agree with that, which is interesting why the rest of the world, the maps across the rest of the world don't even recognize it. And our territory, the U.S. territory, is barely like a third or a quarter. Like it's not even the whole thing. So I agree. What do you think about this? Calling it the Gulf of America.
I think it's beautiful, man. I think it's
Hmm.
beautiful. Trump could do whatever he wants. Who's gonna stop him?
You said Trump can do whatever he wants to do. No, who's gonna stop him?
Yeah, he called it the Gulf of America. Well, who's gonna stop him from doing it?
That's how you feel?
Yeah, new regime. Do what we want over here? What you gonna do about it?
That's
If you
that's
don't like it, if we don't like it, who
that's,
cares?
that's stupid.
If you
Um,
don't like it, who cares? Nobody
that,
gonna stop him.
that's stupid. All right, Erica says, until you put some respect on the black community, stop saying ninja. Black card revoked in love. At least you said it in love.
Look, who are you to call who are you to pull somebody black card, bro? Women, all right, I'm trying to be respectful, but at this point, stay back, man. You ain't don't be involved in this. You good, man. Don't do it. Stay away from it.
So, speaking of women, we will respect them. Maybe you won't, but we will
Nah,
respect them by
no
saying
woman telling a black dude your card is revoked. You can't could you
they
fight?
could,
How could
they,
you revoke my how
they
could
could
you
do
revoke my card? Could you
they
fight?
could
Could
do
you enforce that?
they could do that.
They can enforce it?
They could do that. Yeah, I mean it's a social thing.
No, I don't care about no social
Socially,
thing.
socially, you just not him.
Well,
That's all they
socially,
say. Socially, you just not him.
but socially, this is between men and women. If you can't enforce it, you can't talk about it. What you can't enforce it, so what you gonna do about it?
But that's dumb. Like
How is
that.
it dumb? You can't make a rule.
Let
You
me
can't
keep it
make
real
a
with you. Let
you
me keep it
can't
real
make
with
a
you.
law.
Let me keep it
You
real with
can't make a law. You
you.
can't make a law and don't enforce it. That don't make sense.
Most of the time, you sound um intelligent.
I
Uh,
am intelligent, but
even
my thing is this.
bro, let me talk, man. Stop cutting me off.
But
Stop cutting me off.
you're
Stop
cool
cutting
with
me off.
no.
Oh,
You cool with
stop
this.
cutting me off. No, no,
No,
no.
you cool
Stop
with
cutting me off.
insult. You
Stop
cool with
cutting me
that.
off,
I'm gonna defend
Christian.
myself. I'm
Christian,
gonna defend
stop
myself.
cutting me off. Stop cutting me off. We're not gonna do that. If I was on your show, I let you rock. You can get off all you want. I get it. I get it. It be like that. So anyway, we're gonna leave that up. We're gonna leave the view of that up. And I'm gonna say this because we're gonna end this still putting respect on women's name because women do a lot of great work. As far as Christian Crowley, I don't know a lot about her. That's the fire chief out of LA. I don't know a lot about her, but um, as her past or her work history reads as such. She worked for the city fire department for more than 25 years and held nearly every role, including fire marshal, engineer, and battalion chief. Crowley rose through the ranks for 2 decades, serving as a firefighter, engineer, captain, assistant chief, and deputy chief. Again, I'm not trying to validate that because I don't know her. But what I try to do on my show is speak truth. If you got an opinion, cool, say it's your opinion. As my man said, opinions don't have to be true or opinions don't have to be facts, as he said. I disagree. I think that if I say something, if I know it's not a fact, I should say, all right, well, this ain't this is just my opinion. I just think it this way. This is what I've experienced. This is what I've seen. But I'm not gonna give it to you like, oh, this is this is it. This is the truth because I feel it. That ain't gonna happen. So sorry, my guy jumped off, but it is what it is. He'll be back. He'll be back because he always got something to say, just like I do. But sometimes things get heated, and uh, you can't think that it's only going to be your view, and sadly, that's why people don't like to engage in this. They feel like, no, it's just my view, and I don't want to hear nothing from nobody else. What he starts saying is like, if you can't enforce it, then you can't talk about it. That don't even make sense. That don't even make sense because all people talk about it. Even Republicans, when they couldn't enforce anything and the Democrats were in power, they still talked. They still fought against it. They still had all their issues with it. Like, of course, this is freedom of speech. What are you talking about? What are we talking about? Is this America or not? We following the Constitution or not? Hope y'all enjoyed that. This has been Cashmere, California. I'm still leaving that up. Christian. Oh yeah, he mad. He mad. He'll be texting me in a second. Yeah, this is Cashmere, California. That was good. I knew it was gonna be good. I told him don't make me mad. Don't make me mad. I want to have a good conversation with him, but certain people you just can't disrespect on the show. And I always try to give my guests to any future guest that sees this and they want to come on and talk about it. If you can see it, I give people all of the space that I can for them to speak. If I need to say something, sometimes I might jump in and say it, but then I try to be quiet, back up and let them get their points across. I might challenge those points, but I still give you the space. What I just did in muting Christian, it was because, but what I won't allow is for people just to disrespect the viewers. You can't disrespect my viewers. You can come on the show. I'll make sure that you are respected by the viewers, but I'll also make sure you respect the viewers. Because at the end of the day, my supporters are everything to the show. So we are here to try to create good conversation for the viewers, not to disrespect them. So if you disagree with it, you just disagree with it. But to start talking about, can you fight? And okay, now we on something else. Like that's a whole nother space that we shouldn't even be in. We shouldn't even be in. Me and him are grown men with children, with wives or significant others. And that is enough to have a certain level of maturity. And talking about can the woman fight? No, come on. That's a lot. Che Brookins. Che Brookins says, your thoughts on Trump and Vance bullying of the president. Man, that was rough. I'm not going to get into it just because I try not to let this podcast just be a sounding board for me to just speak my thoughts. I usually try to bring on somebody with some kind of other opinion or some value to add to the conversation. So it's not just me just going off the handle on someone, but I will say that there's a reason that half of America didn't vote for Trump and Vance. There's also a reason why half did. The way that we deal with our foreign adversaries, that's one of our big differences. And for those of us who didn't vote for Trump, that's a big part of it. Not knowing how he was going to treat and respect our foreign friends, whether that be in support, in trade or in any other areas. And so I don't agree with it. Half of us don't, probably more than half. They just don't want to say it. But I think that if we are allies, we should always operate as allies. We can disagree, but best not to do that on camera, right? Like what just happened. We can disagree, but best to try to be mature about it. If I was on his show and he muted me, I wouldn't have jumped off the show. I would understand, okay, he's trying to get control of his show. It's his podcast. It's his platform. But I feel like disagreements will happen. Back to the diversity thing. That's why we have diversity. That's why we're bringing different thoughts and different opinions, different backgrounds. We value that diversity, and that's going to lead to some tension at times. But that's not justification in either being disrespectful or bullying because you hold something over someone. You have more value than that person. They're subservient to you because they need you. You're more powerful. I feel like that turns into a lesson that I be teaching my kids. And as adults, they should, know better. But 'tis what it is. With that being said, this is the Pod is Good podcast. I am Cashmere, California. And with that, I am out.